You're listening to the Pine Room Podcast, the home of sports, gambling, entertainment, and whatever the hell else has gone on this week. So pull up a seat by the fire, crack open a cold one, and make sure to get your bets in. Welcome to the Pine Room. All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Pine Room Podcast, episode 32. We're here in the WVLY studio once again. Kind of a crummy weather outside, but we also had our set down at River City, so it was going to be a little bit of a pain to get everything back up to the Pine Room and organized. But we are down here again. Thank you to Kayleen, Rocky, Lola, Howard. Thank you to all of them for letting us come down and here and do this, because otherwise we would be kind of out of luck. So we are down here again.
We'd be doing it in the back of your truck.
Yeah. We got a loaded desk. Garage. We got a loaded set today. We're a little clustered in here, but we'll make do with what we got. Camera, you know, our set, it doesn't look as good as the normal one, but we'll make do, of course, and we will survive. But really, as long as the
best video that will ever grace YouTube, I don't believe.
As long as you hear our velvety sweet voices in your ears on your podcast app, then
while you're on the treadmill or doing whatever it is you do.
Jeff Moan velvety.
What's the definition of velvety?
Like velvet smooth.
Smooth. Okay,
I just thought about
red
this.
velvet cake.
It makes the women tingle.
Yes, it does.
I guess before we get into everything, what do you think most people do when they listen to us? Like, wonder what their activity is.
Car ride,
you think?
Yeah, car ride. Or
Jeff,
you're
a
tractor. I'm a tractor.
I was going to say yours was tractor, right?
Cooking dinner.
I was going to say homework.
Yeah, mine.
Emily does that a lot with.
I do homework too.
And
well, we're very smart. We kind of
enhance
get the
creative juices flowing. Matt.
The brain matter gets flowing.
Yeah. Were you guys ever? Because I can't do it. I can't listen to music with lyrics like when I'm doing schoolwork.
I can't either.
It's got to be like jazz.
Yeah, it's got to be just instrumental, something where I don't have to focus on the lyrics because it'll throw me off. What I'm doing.
I'm a TV guy.
TV?
I studied all through college with a TV on.
Really? Like just what anything or
anything,
just
whatever just happened to be on at
the
that
news?
time. Yeah, definitely so. Yeah.
I'm a big lo-fi
I was
guy.
with that The Office, the show, because you really don't have to pay attention to that show. It's just kind of random.
Yeah, just got good lines every few minutes.
Yeah.
Michael Scott, your hero.
Yeah, we are here in the WVLY studio. Boy, I butchered that.
WLVY.
WVLY. There we are. We had a great weekend. 2 weeks ago, or actually a weekend ago, I can't keep track of my...
2 days ago.
A week and 2 days ago.
Last Sunday, how about that?
We were down at the West Virginia Penitentiary doing our Halloween Spooktacular show. That went really, really well. Thank you to Tom and everybody that works down there at the penitentiary for letting us come down there and doing the ghost tour and doing the whole rigmarole. So that was really something cool, and that was probably one of my favorite things we've done so far, because that's a little out of the blue for us.
Soup, have you recovered yet?
Well, yeah, I had a lot of fun. How about the spring, though, when we're locked in there for 6 hours?
I can't wait.
That's going to be awesome.
I can't wait till Jeff Doyle's in there running around.
I tell you what, the footage of that stuff, though, honestly, I know you do a lot of good work, but I tell you what, that was there was just something special about that. You did a really nice job.
Thanks, Jeff. Yes. But what was I going to... Oh, I think that the one big takeaway I took from the ghost tour was, number one, we didn't see a ghost, so I'm not surprised there. But the funniest thing was that of all things that we found scary, or that at least the guy found scary, was a Ninja Turtle. Oh. There was a Ninja Turtle that was painted on the wall. Oh, yeah. And Soup comes into there's like this, it's like a crow's nest up top of this big area. And you can go up top and you can look down through and see the whole foyer of this room. Okay. And on the wall there's these murals, and then there's a Ninja Turtle, and I guess the backstory was that the guy was colorblind because the Ninja Turtle was blue, I think. Or he was some kind of weird color.
He had red. He was red. It was supposed to be Raphael, but he put Leonardo on it was the blue turtle.
Yeah, so his colors were off, and she was kind of telling us the story about all the art that was in there, because there were some couple statues and stuff down in the bottom. But Soup comes in, and I'm looking at Soup, and all of a sudden I see him his eyes get real big, and he goes, Ma'am, has anybody ever told you that those turtles' eyes move?
Dude, it was terrifying. I'm telling you, I either was freaking myself out or the eyes moved because my skin like started to crawl up immediately, and I felt like the hair on the back of my neck stand up, and I literally started freaking out. And
Yeah, and then Cools, my dad got you.
Oh, he got me really bad. I was shining that flashlight through that window. I was building up the codes to look through it, and he tickles my neck.
I just stopped recording on my phone too. Right when he did that, I wish I could have got that.
Jeff, what are your thoughts about? Because I know we us guys talk about the paranormal, and you're real reserved on your opinions of the paranormal. But if you were to go into that building, into the penitentiary, do you think you'd be freaked out?
Well, to say, we've had this conversation before, because I'm not some self-proclaimed tough guy, because that's not what it's about at all. I just have a hard time wrapping my head around things, in my opinion, that don't feel reality.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't seem real, but also if you're telling me that I got to go be locked in that prison by myself for 6 hours, I know I'm gonna be with you guys, but if I had to like by myself. I don't know if I would be really pumped about that. But at the end of the day, I think, and just being real, that if we're all going to be in a group, there's not going to be nothing that's going to come out and scare me with the group of us.
That's why we're going to split up, cover all
That would
areas
be
of
fun.
the
I mean, I would hope if something rolls out and that we're fucking somebody up,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, period.
If
right?
that shadow man comes up, Jeff's putting it in a little 4-figure leg lock, and we're But Chris and I were the two skeptics. But it was funny, Chris. I was kind of doing my little thing, and you told me to stay away from you.
Well, you were like tempting fate. Saying, come on,
You were
spirits.
conjuring things.
Yeah,
He was
right.
he was out of line.
Right, and then I guess that Matt's brother Ace must have listened to that podcast after it came out, and he said, "Hey, I'm glad to hear that you might be starting to believe in all that stuff."
Yeah, but Ace is concerned about you, though. He said
Me?
you should never tempt those people. And
So
test them.
I mean, Ace was like serious as a heart attack. He was like, "You don't mess with that kind of stuff," and he
Ace
believes
is
in
like,
all
if
of
you
it. So I
break
don't,
the Ouija board out, you'll be
until
in
I'm
big trouble.
convinced, I'm not buying any of it.
That's
Chris,
what I
maybe-
say. There's nothing there has been no solid thing that has proved to me that ghosts are real. No, there's nothing.
And
There's
then
been nothing.
let me ask you this question too: do you think that when those tour guides when they get hired out, do you think they tell them to make up stories?
I don't.
Like
now,
that guy
I don't,
got 3 scratches on his neck for no reason.
Now, I don't necessarily
Who
think
did
that
that?
I don't think that they make them up, but I think that if you're put in anywhere for a significant amount of time, that you're going to start to kind of conform to the place that you're located in. So, like, if I'm here all the time in the studio, I might want to start that. Like, I might get a little knack for radio. I might start, or for instance, if I was in, if I was in a fast food restaurant and I was locked in that restaurant for like 12 hours a day, I'm going to start to get a taste for fast food. Like, I'm going to start picking up things from that place. Like, I don't know whether I'm going to start eating food, start getting to know, like, the nooks and crannies of that place. But eventually, your brain is going to wire itself to the location that you're in. You're going to adapt to that place. And if you've been hearing for the past, say, I think the girl was working there 2 years maybe. If you've been in that and you hear day after day about people that are experiencing stuff, even if you're a non-believer, you're going to start to. I think your brain is just powerful enough to convince yourself that there is stuff in there.
Chris made me laugh so hard when you were doing that stuff, Jub, because I was trying not to laugh because I didn't want to upset any spirits. I didn't want any of them to be mad at me. And we were in one of those rooms. And you were really tempting them, like yelling at people and trying. And Chris,
I think you said like bite my ear.
Yeah.
I want him to bite my ear, throw me against the ceiling.
and I was so
That would have been
scared.
badass.
Well, that only happens if you get possessed, though, doesn't it?
And Chris, I was sitting there, I was scared. Chris said, "Chubb, why are you doing that?" And I had to bite my tongue so I didn't laugh.
So honestly, if you laugh, you're afraid they're going to do something to you.
Yeah, I'd be terrified.
What's the worst that
Ace
they could
says
do to
don't
you,
poke
though?
fun at him. He's
Yeah,
right. Super straight.
don't upset them. I don't know.
In all the
They
million,
can possess you. They could go inside your body. So you guys don't believe in any of that demonic possession?
No,
absolutely
Wait a
not.
minute, but like it's actually you can read testimonials, you can watch videos of possessed people. Of the Catholic
I don't
Church.
buy
We
it.
know a lot of people.
So
It's
you're
never
thinking
happened to
they're
anybody
fake?
we know.
I think it's fake.
Yep.
I think
All of it?
Yes.
Like it literally has the. I mean, wow. I mean, that's a pretty deep. I don't know why they would make that up.
There's one girl. There's one girl. Well, and then again, this guy made a point. There was a girl. She was like 6 or 7 years old, and she like started having some sort of illness or something, and then like they jumped to possession. So then everybody kept telling her that, hey, you're possessed. And I think after a while, if you're telling me I'm possessed and I'm 8 years old again and again and again now, granted, I don't know, other people have been possessed that have been older than that. But like if you tell me, if I'm 8 years old and you keep telling me, multiple people could tell me I'm possessed, I'm going to start to believe that I'm possessed. And then I think your brain just is powerful enough to believe that you have something wrong with you.
So you think it's suggestive thought and dialogue towards you would make you believe that you actually are?
I think if it's enough, and if your brain is that malleable to be able to kind of go down that path.
Young kids, I can see that.
Yeah,
but adults, You
ever heard of? There was Bobby Mackey's. Bobby Mackey's. It's like one of the most haunted places. It's like a bar. I can't remember. They was on Ghost Adventure. But a guy was possessed in there.
But why is that's a great? Why is one place, or excuse me, why does spirits pick or choose certain places? Like, why is our penitentiary filled with a whole bunch of spirits?
Because the amount of death that happened in there. Most of the time, people that have died in that or on the grounds or in the premises, they can't cross over
or
into
in the walls.
Yeah, there you go. Or in the walls.
Yeah, and the Indian burial mound right across the street too.
Right. And you have
that didn't help.
Conjuring up there. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like this stuff's pretty real, but I mean, if you guys don't believe, that's okay.
Well, I'm not. Once again, I'm not completely against it. I just think I don't know. I just have a hard time wrapping my head around it. I'll be anxious to see. I didn't realize we're doing this. We're 6 hours. So we're 6 hours in, and what is it? We're locked in a certain room. What are we?
I think it's go everywhere.
Yeah, prison.
Yeah, so I think it's 10 to 4 a.m. Yeah. You have the run. They lock you in, and you have the run of the whole place.
What is it? 10 to 4 in the morning.
10 to 4 in the morning. Yeah. So you better get some sleep before.
Wow.
When they told me that, I immediately thought, what am I going to pack to eat? Because I was so scared I'd get hungry.
That'll be the last thing I'll be worrying about.
All right, here's this, and we'll play this, and then, because we've had our weeks of ghost stuff, but I want to cap it off with this. This is a recording. Her name is, it was in Germany. Her name is Anneliese, I think Michael, or Mikkel. I think Mikkel, like how in Dark.
That's how they would say it.
Yeah, but anyway, this is a young girl that has been told that she's been possessed. I think she died of starvation because she just wouldn't eat, and they said that she crushed an apple in her hand with one hand. But anyway, this is the audio. If I can get it up there.
That's her.
That's the demon, Chris.
So she's German.
I think it's just her German accent.
I think I just heard far from pooping. It's like a fucking gremlin.
So, Job, I got a question that makes me think of when you just played that. So, how do you explain the people who are possessed? If you guys say this is potentially fake, how do you explain the ones who begin speaking different languages and stuff? Because that's what reminded me of that. There's been ones like that. Oh, absolutely.
I'd have to
So
really...
I mean, all of a sudden now you just unlocked a part of your brain that you could speak, Mandarin Chinese just because,
So somebody got possessed and they literally spoke.
And then they'll speak in tongues. They'll speak in Latin, and that's why you always see priests being involved in this. And again, I'm not saying it's 1,000% ironclad, but it sure seems pretty believable to me from the things that I've read. But
for me, I just don't. I don't know if I don't believe it or I do believe it. I just kind of
I get it.
It's cool
neutral.
You haven't seen enough to be totally on board with it.
Yeah, I'm not like John.
You're not saying no way.
No, wait a second. I'm not saying that I don't believe you. If you say that you have an experience with a ghost, I'm not saying I don't believe you. I'm saying I've never had proof.
I never have either.
No, but I was gonna say I haven't looked I'm not like you. I haven't seen I don't watch documentaries or anything on this.
Probably none of us have had first-hand accounts. Any of you guys? I've never had anything like that personally, or really anybody I know.
I don't think anybody's had a ghost experience, have they?
No.
That's what I'm saying. Nothing spiritual.
Did anybody? Jarrett, go ahead and tell everybody what happened to you after the.
Oh, geez, that actually gave me chills. This is actually crazy. I forgot to tell you guys this. I only told Soup and Cooley and Jubb because we went to dinner after. Wow, that gave me chills. So when I got into my car, do you guys remember when we were on the tour? The girl said that your phone kind of gets messed with and stuff.
I think we were in the
My
basement.
battery drained very fast when
We
I was
were
in
in the
there.
basement, and she said that people's phone will start playing music.
Oh, it'll start like draining your battery.
Yeah.
And I'm not lying. I'm telling 1,000% the truth, and because I don't really believe in ghosts.
right.
I don't, and
You
I
have
don't
no reason to
I don't
make it up,
Yeah,
right.
and I don't give a shit. So when I got in my car, I grabbed my phone to play music, and I got on my Spotify app, and I went to click. It started playing a song, and then for some reason it said that I was offline, like I didn't have any service. So then when I went to click on the song, it was Talking Tennessee. I'd say the song. It was Talking Tennessee by Morgan Wallen. I went to click on it, and when I clicked on it, my phone like freaked out, and I swear to God on everything, it started playing the song Taps, like the military song.
That kind
like,
of just gave me chills. That's
I'm not sure. I swear it started playing
Now, how in the world did that
Taps,
happen?
and I have no like. I didn't like. I haven't played that like. And it was like the sixth
Who
song.
plays taps?
Yeah, and it
They're
was
like
like
working out. You're playing
and it was
taps.
like it was like the seventh song down in this album that I could have just like went and like randomly clicked it.
He showed us, and I will say that's a weird coincidence.
It was really weird. I was like, I clicked. I said, "Holy shit!" Like, what? And I still was like right outside
that'd be a
the
little
penitentiary. I was like, "Wow."
All right.
that-
Jared, did you Google that to see if that's happened to anybody else?
no, I didn't. I forgot it happened. Actually, I
Okay.
completely forgot it happened until he said that.
So let's take an objective point of view here. Number one, what is the relative age that these guys would have died, or the year these guys would have died in the penitentiary?
Anywhere from the 1800s until
To 1995.
Yeah.
Now, how would a ghost know how to operate Spotify in 2022 on a cell phone?
They've spent years in this prison watching people tour it every day.
Well, I mean,
Why
I-
people use phones.
I don't know. Did
good
they
point.
click taps? I mean, what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They might have possessed Jared. He
believe
didn't,
that.
he didn't even
Oh,
know
he
it.
didn't even-
Maybe it was
He
like,
didn't even
maybe,
know it.
maybe I did it for. Maybe I was sitting in my
You
car
guys
for
were
like,
eating wings with
Yeah,
him,
that's
and it
why-
wasn't even him.
I was like,
I didn't even remember.
that's why I was late to dinner. Like I thought it was like a split second. Really, it was like 15 minutes went by. I'm just
like
like
2
sitting in my
years.
car, just like this, like on my phone.
So did you right away kind of get like this?
Yeah,
is really
I-
freaked
Now, what
out?
if you looked on your phone and it had like a date like on there, like 1964, blah blah, and then you looked it up and some dude died right where you were. And
Yeah, it was it really.
Because
like-
I've heard things like that. I've never had any of this happen to me.
Yeah, and then
before.
so it was like at the bottom there, and I went to click. Like I went like
so
that.
you saw that Morgan Wallen.
Yes,
and then
I
you
went
clicked
to,
it, and then
I
that
clicked
song
it,
came.
and it just it flipped over. Like, well, my screen was blank. It said I was offline, and I clicked that, and
Right.
it started playing taps.
That's my thing with you, Jub. With
Quite ironic.
with how open-minded and creative you are. There's so much history in our country and our entire Earth that has stuff like this. You just think they're making it up everywhere.
I just think the human brain is really powerful.
Oh, there's no doubt
I think
about
it's
that.
a really powerful thing.
We're probably for alien species anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like now, I will 100% that I believe in aliens far more than I do anything paranormal.
Oh, I'm with you there. I
'Cause,
think
I
there's
mean,
tangible
I
evidence.
do
for that.
believe you about what you can say about the brain though, because I've like been asleep and like woken up and like seen stuff in my room.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
then you
Oh,
you
yeah.
saw a spider in your
It
room.
happened to me recently where I saw a spider like swinging towards me. I freaked out, threw my blankets everywhere. Like my brain does that to me.
People
all
really?
the time. Oh,
we
I've
unlock
seen
more in
people-
our dreams than when we're not we're in like REM sleep than we actually do in our real
freaks me
Well,
lives.
out.
and it's a proven thing that if you've ever heard about sleep paralysis, there are people that that see when they're in sleep paralysis. If you don't know what sleep paralysis is, it's when your brain wakes up but your body doesn't yet.
Have
So
you guys-
your brain is
It's like
ready
a-
to
it's
wake
like a
up.
locked-in
Yeah,
sensation
so
kind
you're
of-
kind of locked in, and people. A side effect of that is people oftentimes see like a figure. For what reason, I don't know, but you could instantly. I mean, that might be something medical, but even if it is something medical, if you saw a human figure when you're frozen in bed, you're automatically going to think that that's something paranormal. So I mean, that stuff is the reason I don't believe.
Real quick, have you guys ever had sleep paralysis? Has that ever happened to you guys?
Oh my God, like when you
No.
can't move. and, like,
That's
you
the scariest thing.
It's so scary.
You're like, this is
know.
it. This is it. That's it. Have you ever had?
So
Joe?
explain to me what happened.
Like when you're in bed and like I don't know, middle of the night you wake up. Well, you think you wake up
You're-
and I guess your brain's awake and you try to move and you just can't.
Your brain goes into a state when you're sleeping to protect you from moving. Like if you move the way you dream, then you'd be running through the wall. So I think there's
coma patients.
so there's something in your brain that locks you down so you can't move. And I think you wake up before that triggers to go off, and your brain doesn't realize you're up yet, and then you.
I was just wondering what the.
Yeah, I mean, it's only happened like one
before.
time, and I tried everything in my power to move, and I just
like
couldn't.
You're chained down to your
Yeah,
bed.
it's like you're chained. You're trying. Yes, exactly. You're trying to lift your arms, and you can't. It's like.
Did you guys get this when you were in Seattle?
Yeah, we might have. Yeah.
But here's my question: Why do you guys think then? Why are some people, I guess, for lack of better terms, privileged to have these experiences, and some of us are not?
Well, I think it depends on your belief. I think.
Well, that's going to lead to my next point, because I think at the end of the day that it's kind of like we were saying, a mind is a very powerful thing, and I do. Matt always says it all the time as well. Like I think there's so many things that we haven't even been able to lock into our brain to bring back out, but. So if I believed in it, I think I'm going to be a little bit more prone to see some of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, that is my opinion with all this stuff. I think it's just truly a mind game in my humble opinion.
Tom, who was the I can't remember his
director.
Director of the Moundsville.
Can't remember all
something committee,
a council, but he said he didn't believe in any of it, and the dude that sat down with us, Garrett Osborne, said he didn't believe in any of it, and yet they had these experiences. So again, I think it's the circumstances.
There's a new show on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet with Ed and Lorraine Warren. Like people are going back and trying to test some of their theories because they're both deceased, but. They believed in this 28-day thing where it was like it would take them like 28 days to be able to communicate with these spirits when they were in a certain place that they thought that there was spirits or people were possessed or whatever. So people were testing it out. I haven't watched it yet to see how it is.
What is it, Matt?
I think it's called 20. It might say 28 days. It's right on like the main screen of
Netflix.
Yeah,
because I'm going to try to.
But
I'll give it a try.
But you remember them from the Conjuring movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'd say I'm going to watch that and try to learn a little bit more about this, about what.
So they just spend
happens.
28 days in one spot,
because they're trying to rid these people's houses. These people have like demons or whatever type of spirits that are bothering them or whatever, and they're it takes a while. Like they're not going to get it. So I don't know. That may not matter, but the people believe that theory could be plausible. Whereas we were in there one night and Jub's up there testing these guys. Maybe the guides and stuff have been in there long enough that. The spirits feel comfortable coming out on them. I don't know. It's just speculation, obviously.
Who is the one lady? She's like on TLC, and she like acts like she talks to the dead. Do you know? Yeah, she's like she's got a real big blonde bob hair, like an old
Paula Deen.
No.
Yeah, I can't think of her name, but I remember. Yeah,
shoot, because
back in the old days, it was Dionne Warwick, the land of the psychic.
Shoot, what was her name?
Too,
damn it.
Do you guys believe in those people?
No,
those psychics?
I think they are scam.
No.
I think they're scam
really?
artists.
I didn't agree with that, but I've read some incredible accounts, and I know a guy who knows a guy, and they told me about this, and it was like this wife, and this person came up to her and said, like, I can see your dead sister right here. Never met her before. Like, how the fuck does that happen?
And that is crazy.
Like, you're sitting in a restaurant and they come up and say, your sister's here with me right now. Her name is this. She was born here. She died here. Like, how can that be?
My thing is, why not?
Right.
There's so
exactly,
many of us
Sid.
on this
why
earth.
Not? We don't know.
Why could one person not have their brain been clicked different than ours?
Absolutely. It happens all the time.
If somebody came up to me and said
somebody
that,
told
I
that,
think I'd have to punch him. I'd have to punch him.
Here's the thing.
Why her? Why they pick her? I don't.
There's a guy. His name's the Amazing James Randi. I think I talked about him before on the podcast. But he debunks magicians and these spirit talker people, and he debunked a couple of them. And I granted, there might be somebody out there that actually can talk to the dead and can speak to them. But I think people that do it like for money and do it on
most
these
of them are
TV
liars.
shows, I think they're scam artists. I think they deserve to be locked up just as much as Al Capone was locked up. Biggest criminals. I think they take people's grief for and use
No
it
doubt about it.
like a weapon. I think it's terrible. I hate them.
We say it all the time. There's bad in every profession.
Yeah.
So
That's true, though. Well, here's a little personal. So I lost my mom when I was 13. So I was going through some tough times, and I truly earned for like something, for some kind of sign, I guess, from my mom or whatever the case might be. Unfortunately, we went through some bad stuff in Warwood. There was another girl in my class. Her dad passed away a couple months after my mom. She had this truly like very vivid, whether it be an experience or a dream, she wasn't sure what it was, but literally wrote a story about it in 8th grade and won awards on it just because how cool it was. So I guess my question to all you guys is, what her dad, why wouldn't somebody then want to reach out to you if you know that you're earning for something at that time? Why wouldn't my mom, who absolutely loved me and blah, blah, vice versa, like, hey, I'm going to help Jeffrey out right now and go down and help him out and throw him a little sign. Mm-hmm. So if this is all very true or whatever the case might be, who's pick and chose on who gets to have that experience, who doesn't get to have that?
I think you guys are right about the way you're wired. I think that has a lot to do with it. A lot of people think that stuff's in their family, just a background of being able to spiritually open and conversing with spirits and that type of stuff. I again never had this situation happen to me before.
It's wild though. It really is. I mean, the whole situation is just crazy. And for people that have those experiences, God bless them. I think it's badass. And maybe I'm the window licker of the bunch that fucking it's never going to happen to Jeff Doyle, and I'm not going to be able to have that belief.
Teresa Caputo. That's what her name is.
That's actually not who I was thinking. To be honest, I don't even know. Can't even think of the name. Okay.
Anyway.
That's a great point though, because it is right. Like, why not you? Why couldn't have the experience happen to you? But with what Matt was saying, there has to be like a community or like the way people are raised. Like, I just picture other countries across the world in these small little towns and stuff probably have like this spiritual upbringing. Like they're closer with the earth than we are, and they probably are able to connect and talk. And like you see all these stories and hear all this different stuff of like the way the wind moves and they see water flow. Like, they're just
spirits and everything.
Yeah, they're so
every part of
the stuff.
like water, fire, air, everything. But again, a lot of people aren't very spiritual anyway, even if it's just faith, religious faith.
Sylvia Brown.
Hey, since we're on the topic of get my unspoken tricks on you, have you guys ever like felt deja vu though?
Oh,
Deja vu is awesome.
Totally
Craziest thing ever.
See, now that is something that I can get behind and say, there's something up there.
I've had deja
something's
vu
up there.
way too many times, man. It scares me to death because I want to say something to somebody with me, like, hey, I've seen this happen, but like in my head, I'm like, they're gonna think I'm crazy.
Do you ever meet somebody and then realize that you saw them in a dream or something before you actually met them?
I've done that. I've seen like the exact moment
I
play
feel
out.
like I have
I'm
too.
Yeah,
oh my God,
deja vu is really weird.
Seen it's like a
very
replay in real life.
But people believe, though, that our brains are so powerful that we actually know what's going to happen before it does. And a lot of that stuff is different, multi-dimensional. And if you believe in that stuff...
I believe in that
totally
way
believe
more
in
than
it.
I do believe in ghosts.
I think I believe in everything at this point.
Do you ever have premonitions where you'll like think of your favorite TV episode just for whatever reason, and then like for whatever reason you turn the TV on and it's there?
Yeah.
I did that. I did that
That
yesterday.
happens to me all the time.
I do that with
Without a
songs
doubt.
all the time.
Like how does that happen?
Well, how
It's
about
is
I'll
it
take
total
one-
coincidence?
What about, I guess, from you guys? And actually, it's even
And if
happens.
so?
And hopefully you get to this point too. Like my wife and I think we're around each other. So, like we think for each other. Do you guys have that kind of stuff? Like we're literally finished sentences, or
They say
and
twins
even actually,
can.
it's not just even the wifey. Even Luke. I spend so much time with Luke. Like we have those minds where he was just thinking of something. I bring it up. He's like, I was literally 30 seconds ago just thinking about that.
Yeah,
we just did it in the car on the way
Oh
here.
yeah, actually, because I called him about what did I call you about? About a mic, bringing a microphone down, and we were talking about the Alex Highsmith video, which is coming out until yesterday. When you hear this,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
yesterday when you hear this, which is a great video, and there was something that I was I literally like had the same exact thought of the way that he was going to make this video, and he said, yeah, that's how I did it. I was like, I literally just thought about. Like,
I mean, that's wild though,
that-
isn't it? I mean,
and
is that just time?
I feel like, yeah, and I feel like we kind of have the same.
We're on the same. I mean, yeah, we've been around each other.
He always says that when, geez, this is probably this is 12 years ago when I got hit in the head with a line drive, playing baseball and fractured my skull. He always said that his head hurt too. Like,
I had a headache. I had a headache that night.
Isn't it? I mean,
I
honestly,
believe that.
that's what
I think
stuff's
people are
wild,
intertwined
though.
like
I
that,
mean,
definitely.
But then again, could I have just been really harping on the fact that he got hit in the head? I'm thinking about.
You were stressed. Because
Yeah. I mean, it's all. I mean,
How do you explain for like if you guys were, God forbid this doesn't happen, but like you guys are separated for years and years, don't talk to each other, and like say Jared gets hit by a bus, he's in California and he dies, and like you have no idea that he died, and you just something just comes over you like, oh my God,
Something
Jared's
bad
gone.
happened.
I've heard a lot of that. I've heard a lot of those, and like there's been times where I like feel like I'll have a weird thought or a feeling, and I'll have to call, like I'll call my mom or call my dad and just ask, just see
Be
if
sure everything's
make sure
good.
they pick up the phone and then everything's good. But like
I
I'll
think
wait,
we
or
all
like
have
I'll
that.
have dreams. Like I have dreams a lot. I have dreams of bears a lot. I dream of bear like
His
running.
dreams
bear
are so
cubs.
fucked up.
I have dreams of running away from bears a lot. Like it's like a normal. They're my favorite animal, but I
revenant.
have a dream about always seeing them in the woods, and I run from them a lot more than I probably should. But like I'll have dreams of like Evie getting our dog chased by bears, and like just like as soon as I get up, I want to make sure she's good. Like I don't know whether that now granted I could have those dreams for like. I don't know, 15 years or 12 years, and then she gets eaten by a bear. Is that my fault because I didn't do anything about it?
Gonna happen.
Well, I'll say this about you, Job. 'Cause like you said, your brain plays tricks on you, but you're also one of the biggest warriors I've ever met. Like, you worry about
Yeah,
stuff
he is a warrior.
I worry.
all the time and stress yourself out a lot, so I could see that, but definitely.
Yeah.
Our minds are just
It's crazy,
incredible
yeah, man.
things.
Dude, I have so much fun in my dreams. Like, I'm serious. I'll have dreams that feel so real and they're like scary, or I'll have ones that feel so real and they're awesome. But when I wake up, I immediately think if scientists could just give us like where I could go back and watch that. Like people would be having so much fun in there with me. I'm like, I can feel myself running away and diving through little holes and stuff like that.
Before we go to break, we got a minute here. Have you guys ever had a dream where you realize it's a dream?
No, not till I wake up.
I feel like I have.
Hold on, ask that one more time.
Have you ever had a dream where you're dreaming and you go, "I'm dreaming right now"? It's called a lucid dream.
Right
like,
before-
where
right
you
before
realize.
You can almost control it once you realize it. It's
Well, right
not-
before
what
I
about
wake
when you
up.
dream in a dream?
That'd be kind of wild, though.
Yeah,
That'd be really
it happened to me one time, and I was in it. Like, you remember the scene in Jurassic Park when they're in the kitchen and there's like the raptors are like hitting the spoons and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember there was a raptor and it was up against the window, and I went, "Wait a second, this isn't real." And then I woke right up, and
Hey, have you, any of you had a dream and then you were dreaming in the dream? Like did you guys
Like
ever see the
Inception?
movie Inception? Do you like that movie?
It was a good movie.
I love that movie. You guys ever
I
seen
don't
it?
think so.
Homework.
Yeah, well, I could say some guys will hate it immediately.
I hate it.
It's very, very deep and leveled.
It'll make your brain hurt.
So you're saying probably Coach
But they
would
show
like it.
this about how you can get into people's subconscious by going into their dreams, and these guys actually dream to invade other people's dreams. It's fascinating, and you actually dream within a dream within a dream, and it's really
sounds
cool.
awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you get so deep you don't know if you're dreaming or
Right,
not.
and then you have trouble telling reality, so you got to have a little thing to make sure that
That sounds like
ties
a
you-
movie that my dad would absolutely
he would
hate.
hate. I would say him and Chris would give it no chance.
Hey, how would Champ do with that movie?
He'd do good in the dreaming part. He'd dream with it. But
All right.
very, very good movie.
Go watch Inception. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have any in the studio yet. We're going to get a little mini fridge and load it up when we get the office ready. But this episode is sponsored by Bush Light. Thank you to Karen Bowers for all that they have done in the past couple of weeks. It's been kind of incredible. It still doesn't really. What word am I looking for? Yeah. It hasn't registered in my brain yet that we're actually sponsored by Bush Light, which is just
It is crazy.
nuts.
Hey, I saw today. I think Soup actually reposted it on our on the Pine Room story. They got some new Bush Light Christmas gear in. I think was that right, Soup? Is that what it was? Yeah, I think they got some like sweaters and some ornaments.
Light?
And yeah, Bush Light. Yeah, so we have to stop in.
Chris,
it's a
you
lot
should
better
get some
than.
of that. Mountain
I was
Dew.
just saying, this Mountain Dew that I had was in my car for like 2 weeks, and it's absolutely disgusting. I don't know why I grabbed it.
Wet the whistle.
Yeah.
Huh?
Who drives? Is there a Bush Light car in NASCAR?
Well, Kevin Harvick. Yeah.
All right.
Not all. I mean, that's one of his main sponsors. Yes.
Bet on Kevin.
Speaking of NASCAR, How about that move that
Unbelievable,
that
Ross
Chastain
Chastain,
made?
yes.
Unbelievable.
If
Did
you
you guys
haven't
see
seen
that?
it.
Yeah, that was gonna be my cold
Incredible.
That's
It was
fucked
fucked
up.
All right, well, then we'll save it. We'll
Yeah,
discuss
save
it
it
at the
till
end.
the end. Save it
I was
till
gonna-
the
Stay
end.
I was going
tuned.
to go with our sports
But-
segment.
Yes.
So
Yeah, thank you to Bush Light and Karen Bauer for
Yep.
sponsoring the show and sponsoring us for the past couple of weeks. We actually have a show in the future coming up that's going to take place in their cooler. So we're going to have all the beer around us doing a show in there, which is kind of what I want to start doing with the podcast, is taking and just doing a show somewhere, similar to what we did with the penitentiary, whereas we're not actually performing.
And we don't really have to entertain.
Exactly. We just
Yes.
could go to like, I'd love to go to like a zoo and do it in
Yes.
front of
Joe,
the monkey
I think
exhibit.
that'd be
I said that in the message last night. I don't know if you guys read, but I got a lot of compliments about that penitentiary show.
I did
and
too.
I think that's the way we start to do things.
Yeah.
Especially-
get good. If we can get if you wanted to go to a zoo, we get a good zookeeper that would give us good stories.
Bring out some animals.
Guests, we got a lot of compliments on those guests and how well they meshed in with
Yeah.
the show, and people really like to see that. So
I think that'd be
that's
especially
cool.
in
We'll
the
do
winter-
more of it
in the winter now. Like, there's got to be so many inside places where we can just go and set up for a show.
Like a bowling alley. I know. It's just that's
how
first
about
thing came to mind.
what about where could we go?
We can talk about this in our meeting.
Yes, we'll figure it
But
out.
these people don't really have to
They don't
hear
want to
about
hear
this.
us
Yeah.
brainstorm. Do they?
But yeah, thank you to them for doing what they do for us, and thank you to everybody that has followed and sponsored and done everything so far. We're still in the, I keep calling us the larva stage, and we very much still are. We have a lot of stuff to do and a lot of stuff we're planning on doing. But thank you to Bush Light and Karen Bauer. We have the Generations Parlay of the Week, Matt.
Oh, yeah. Luke's red hot.
Red hot. You guys
He was
talked
2-0.
about this.
He had TCU and what was Notre Dame?
Yeah. Well, you guys probably will talk about
On
that.
Better's
Catch
Last
up with
Stand,
Luke
yes.
on Better's Last Stand. That takes place. Recording will be on Wednesday, and you'll see that on Friday. If you want to catch our radio show, we just we had our first 2 callers this past week.
yeah, how about
They called in about
Threw you
some-
a curveball, too.
Yeah, I was.
Threw
Oh
you
boy,
a curveball.
They beat
Well,
me
at the time,
Well,
see, people
yeah,
don't
well-
realize what was going on at the time. We actually lost our audio, so I'm doing this, and I'm like, and I'm looking at Jubb, and he's like, I don't know, just keep going, and I'm like, all right, we're keeping going. So we could not hear.
Yeah.
He could hear us. It was working.
it
It
really-
was going out to the radio. We had no idea, so we couldn't hear anything. So that kind
So-
of threw us off. And then he gets a call, and he thinks that that's somebody calling to say you're off the air or something's wrong.
So what happened was I was trying to. I always write these. If you want to listen to them on Monday, 2:00, we do our best
Beautiful.
bets of high school, and I always write these stupid little things about the
Soliloquy,
my picks.
you called it yesterday.
I write some. I think I had the Beaver local Beavers and the Lumberjack.
wonderful.
But anyway. I was getting my pen to write, and I knocked the pen off, and, it hit a button on the board, and it knocked all the audio out of the ears of our ears.
Wow.
And I thought, for first, everybody thought we went off the air.
I thought
and
like
I'm
the
going,
power went out.
I'm going
because
like,
I didn't.
I'm wheeling my finger saying, hey, you guys got to keep going. And then I see the light flash and the phone starts ringing, and I'm like, "Oh, I just burned the whole place. This place is coming down." So I picked the phone up, and the guy just asked a question about the coaches of
Belair.
Yeah,
The
Belair.
Belair game.
And
Yeah.
then when we asked what the guy said, Jubb had no idea.
He was
what
so worried about
he was
us
so-
not being on the
That is
air
tough.
that he
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
even
tough.
thinking what the guy was saying.
And when it went out, it was so funny because me and you looked at each other,
You're like,
and then
oh,
it was
boy.
like, "Oh shit!" Like
I think I
are
heard
we
like,
off? Yeah, and I think Matt.
Yeah,
said-
your dad was like talking, and then I was like, "All right, we're
Well,
just gonna keep
it was
going."
it was weird. I almost was like he had like a slur your words because like when you couldn't hear yourself in the headphones, it was like weird. Like it was a weird feeling because when it cut out. But
Yes, very.
But it ended up
good.
going well. But anyway,
Yeah, it was
the
good. It
point
was a
is,
fun show.
the point
and
is,
we found out that Pendleton County's got a great facility.
Yeah.
great
I
facilities
called. I
and,
couldn't
and,
believe he said that.
and a tremendous fan base.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I can't believe he
Raucous
called
crowd.
and said that.
So if you're interested in that show, that's 2:00 to 3:00 every Monday. It's about 2:08, so we're on a little past
After Darnell Foster,
Yeah, after-
would
yes,
come
Darnell.
on after
the
Darnell.
weather update.
Darnell's our leadoff hitter.
I'm starting to look forward to every time when you give you have like that minute and a half long elaboration of why the picks you're taking them. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, it was. We alerted Paul Bunyan this week, but anyway, go listen to that. That's our show, 2 to 3 p.m.
Those are archived on WKKX.
Yeah, you can go. That's in the
Watchdog
podcast
website.
section of the Watchdog. I think it's called watchdognetwork.com. You can go look at the podcast archives and go listen to us every Monday. That's coming out. And then, Matt, we got a little thing.
Yes.
you
Commander
wanna-
Scotty assigned me this task. So the Vets Club down in Warwood is going to have a Veterans Dinner on November the 12th. That's a Saturday, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Warwood Vets. Figueretti's our sponsor. One of our sponsors is catering that event.
Yummy.
So get down to the Warwood Vets. It's open to members and non-members. Come down. We'll have tip boards and fun things going on there. Raise a little bit of money for the vets. Entertain some of the older vets that are still members of the club, and just come down and have a good time, drink some beer, see some old friends. Chris, you might be there.
Oh, yeah. And we have live music, too.
Yes.
Trip and the Riff.
Yeah, Trip and the Riff will be there.
Nipper and Ross.
Yes,
and
they
his
do an
band.
awesome job. Really good guys. Just perform really well.
Yeah.
We really enjoy when they're up there singing for us. And, stop
And
down.
that's a very inexpensive. What is it? What do they charge you? Like
like $10
$10
maybe. Yeah, and he didn't tell me exactly what it was at the door.
Yeah,
so,
it's a great time.
yeah,
I
it's a great
urge
time.
anybody to come to that. That's a lot of fun.
If you got, or even if you have stuff to do, go do it anyway. Go get food, go listen to music, have a fun time. Everybody,
even if you can't make it for the dinner, come after 4. It's 4 to 6 is the dinner, November the 12th. That's Saturday.
and this time of year, everybody needs a break. So we're gonna give yourself a little love and go get some food and listen to some music down at the
get
Vets.
Figueretti's food, drink some cheap beer, relatively
Light.
cheap beer.
Are we
Busch
moving
Light.
down from Saturday?
Yeah, and
from Saturday moving down around the Vets?
might have to.
might have to.
We'll see what the weather's like.
Huge shout out to Scotty because he's
Commander Scotty's awesome, big fan.
Yeah, huge fan. Actually got us a really cool. It was on our show of hands display. His flag of the Pine Room.
Unbelievable.
Really cool
really
stuff.
unbelievable.
Yeah, really cool stuff.
I think he's definitely a regular.
Yeah,
he
for the
is.
Pine
Without a
Room.
doubt.
Yes, very
He's a
much.
regular. He's got
Shout
all the
out
gear.
Brings
He's got it all,
brings
yeah.
the cherries.
Yes,
the cherries
Brings
and the ramps.
The ramps. Chubb's favorite.
Yeah.
Just a good man.
He
Great
is.
man.
He is.
Great
He's
man.
going to do a great job down at the club. So if you're not a member of the Warwood Vets and you want to be, come see any of us. We're all members, and we'll get you on the right
And
track when
Scotty's
memberships open back up.
Scotty's the guy too that if you're on your short list of people that you could count on, and when you're
Absolutely.
in a jam, Scotty's right there.
Yeah,
he's on.
absolutely.
He should be on there.
He's a reliable friend. He's a good dude.
Hell of a good guy.
Great stuff.
And I know he'll
Really
listen to
lucky.
this, so we love you, Scotty.
Yep.
Commander
Yes.
Scotty.
And anything we can do to help, again, check out that dinner on November the 12th down at the Vets, 4 to 6.
Yeah. All right.
Good work. Good work, fellas.
Another thing, we have the Ohio County Tailgate. That's Wheeling Park versus John Marshall. That's November 4th.
That's this week.
Coming up.
Yeah,
Coming up this
too.
Friday.
It'll be tomorrow when you're listening to this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, can you guys fucking believe it's November?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I said
Is
that
that like
today.
you're talking about
Crazy.
November 4th on Friday? Is that not absurd
Hey,
or what?
Thanksgiving month, baby. I'm already so excited.
Unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable.
Like I love this time of year, but it's going by too
Fast.
quick. Like last night, my mom said, "Hey, you want to hand out candy?" I said, "For what?" And she says, "Halloween." I was like, "Oh, it's here already."
Did you dress up in the monkey suit?
No, I
that would
didn't.
have been great. if
Yeah,
you
I was
did.
working.
Those kids
last
would have
night.
loved it.
I know.
Yeah, they would have liked that.
or been terrified.
Yeah.
I feel like
one
we
or the
had-
other.
Yeah,
Hey, Jeff, so speaking of Halloween last night, I heard you had some pleasant trick-or-treaters with some nice manners and please and thank you. And
Were these
whatever
kids from another planet?
right, I mean,
And once again,
That's great
as
to
we know,
hear.
I'm very cheesy when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I tell you what, whatever kids were in Clearview last night, and we went from being, we almost closed up shop in the first 30 minutes.
That's what I told my mom.
It was like
Slow
there was
start,
nobody. And then out of nowhere, like I felt like it was just it was unbelievable, which I loved. I'm sure some people don't love, but I love seeing the kids being excited and coming up with their costumes. But to piggyback, Chris, truly very personable, which once again, I think we all get a big kick out of. I mean, coming up and reciprocating conversation. And if you ask them how they're doing, they're asking how you're doing. And it's just very polite and very appreciative, which I think at the end of the day is just super cool. But every kid, and when I tell you, did not run into one asshole last night.
No way.
I swear to God, not
It's
one
amazing.
asshole. Everybody was appreciative. Everybody's thank yous. You hear all the parents from the road, because obviously I respect that. The parents aren't walking up to the front. But everybody, even you could hear the parents, even the kids are saying thank you, but the parents are still yelling, hey, make sure you say thank you.
Yeah,
that's great.
But obviously, overall, great situation.
How many do you think you had?
Yeah, it's how many?
Oh my God! I'm going to vote. We had 40 to 50, which is a lot.
That's what I was
Which
gonna
is
say.
a lot.
And
in our
Lucian
neck of
ran
the
out of
woods.
sucker. So.
That was actually great. No, the cheap bastard was going to go get quarters.
Boy,
Like,
Lucian.
dude, I'll be
Inflation, Lucian.
Jesus.
Come on.
Hey,
Delicious
Tell me
quarters.
if I'm wrong, Jeff, but I think there was when I was when I was a kid, when you guys first moved up here, I feel like there was a lot of kids in Clearview. And then for about 10 years after we kind of got to teenage years, it kind of died a little bit, and it was more of adolescent into old adults, I feel like there are more kids in Clearview than they have been in a while.
I agree. It's been cyclical, and I think we're back again because I think we're starting to have. Unfortunately, your guys' neighbor is a great example. Unfortunately, some of the older generation is starting to move on.
Baby boom.
I was just going to say the baby boom.
Which is opening up
Baby
homes
boom.
for the younger generation to come back up on the hill. So I do agree with that.
Which
statement.
is cool as long as they're not, like you said, assholes. As long as it's cool to see.
And we even had the other thing, and I'm sorry, Matt, to interrupt.
No,
We
good.
had the variance of ages last night was kind of wild too. So we did even have, I don't want to say older teenagers, but I guess some teenagers, and they were cool as hell too, shooting the shit a little bit. Appreciative of the candy as well.
That was I absolutely loved going trick or treating when I was a kid. I still can remember running around all the different like nice neighborhoods and like looking for the best candy.
I can see you having like a giant sack and trying to get like 7,000 things.
And we would trade at the end of the night.
Yeah.
But I remember this. You bringing up the teenagers thing made me think. There was this weird spot of like where we all stopped dressing up for Halloween, probably like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, early teenagers. Went away all through high school. It wasn't really cool to do Halloween. And then when you got back into college, Halloween was awesome.
Oh,
yeah, it's my favorite holiday.
Traveling,
It's a great
and
holiday.
People love it, and I love it now too because you could travel to all the big different college towns and
Like
dress
OU's
up.
Halloween.
OU,
thing.
Morgantown.
They got a home game tonight.
Yeah,
so maybe they'll be
West
dressed
Lib.
up there.
West Lib was a blast,
Yeah.
and all these different colleges. It was so fun.
I think of something kind of that works off of that is I think when you're a kid, you don't care about what people think about you. Like you could dress up as anything and just have fun with whatever. Then I think
Ewok.
once, yeah. But then I think when you get to kind of 8th grade into high school, you start to be kind of too cool for having fun like that.
Yeah.
So like you can't be seen dressing up as anything fun, which I never.
Yeah, you're a
paid
tough
attention
guy.
to.
You know it all.
Yeah, and then you get to college and you realize it doesn't really matter
Fuck
anyway.
it.
Yeah.
Let's just drink and have fun.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that Halloween is such it's an awesome holiday.
It's so much fun.
Now you get to just.
I
go
think they
and-
should give people the day off school.
Yeah, I
Should
think
be a federal
I'll
holiday.
be honest, if I was
should.
closing my eyes right now, I thought I was talking to Luke Doyle. He's like, "How come nobody's off for Halloween?"
Yeah,
I'm
no
like,
love for Halloween.
Yeah, it should.
It's a hell of a lot more important than Indigenous Peoples Day.
One
or
of my
Columbus
one of
Day.
my favorite times of school ever was on Halloween when we got to do the Halloween parade and we got to
Yeah,
walk
yeah.
around
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
everybody had their costumes on. And you got candy in class. Oh,
You
I
get
love
2
that.
weeks off for Christmas. You can't get one
One
day
day
off
off
for
for
Halloween.
And once
More
again,
than the dead.
Very cheesy, but I work with a nurse practitioner, just a really cool lady. She's probably in her mid 60s, so she's been doing it for a while. Her husband does well, both of them. And a very humbling statement, but she said, when we were able to buy full size candy bars for our
that's
neighborhood,
sweet.
that's when I know we made it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's actually kind of cool, right?
Not
That's-
fun size.
Yeah, not
anymore.
the fun stuff.
Did you guys have when you trick or treated? Did you have some houses that you knew you had to stop by?
Had to.
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. But I didn't trick or treat up on the hill because I grew up on Table Rock.
Yeah.
So doing it on Table Rock, so I always went either to downtown Warwood or I actually went to Woodsdale with some neighbor friends.
When you were in Table Rock, was James Place? That wasn't there.
That was actually where I rode my 4-wheelers. We fished. There was a big pond down there. That place was actually, we called it the Dust Bowl because literally we used to ride go-karts,
Wow, that's
4-wheelers.
cool.
It was so badass. And then all of a sudden they built this big-ass development.
Hey, Chris, you're kind of the sweets connoisseur. What was your favorite snack or treat to get on Halloween? Because I know
I love Kit Kats.
Kit Kats are
Yeah.
good.
You know what? I'm
that's a
glad
good-
you're bringing this up because I actually wrote this down a long time ago. Do you think that Kit Kats taste differently now that it's not in foil? Remember back in the day, they used to have the outside and then it was foiled. Now there's
You
no
open up and
foil.
there was
Yeah.
no, I don't remember.
I
I mean,
have the foil
I
slid through the little outside.
I never
slit.
even actually noticed.
Were you
that.
think it was better back then?
I do.
I agree.
I
I
do.
gotta ask.
That's like
Well, then maybe that's a mind thing.
No, I think
Maybe
it's a little different. Takes a little bland now.
That's
Yeah.
like when Coke used to be in the glass bottles. Did you think
Oh.
Coke used to taste better than the
I'm
can?
not that fucking
That's
old.
like
Jack.
liquid heroin.
God damn it.
What?
You
Last
just
bottle of Coke is a
What
great
candy?
taste.
What candy did you give out last night?
We had actually, Luke was busting balls on the candy we gave out last night. I thought it was pretty solid. The wifey bought all kinds of different shit. So really there wasn't like one
Yeah.
thing, but Luke was busting our balls on that it wasn't a good candy variety. I'm like,
Good
What did you have?
Did he buy any of it?
no, he
Then
did not.
should shut the fuck up.
like almond joy.
it
You know what he did last
Good,
night?
good and plenty. Remember those?
You know what's really
Nobody
weird?
liked those.
Last night was
Yeah.
kind of anticlimactic. It was the first year I passed out candy by myself. The wifey worked, and he actually took a class last night because he's working the voter polls up in Clearview.
Oh, yeah.
So he had to take a class last night to
Damn.
do it. Stupid money.
Figured out how to rig
We
his
should all
first
look into
election.
it.
Yeah,
Stupid money.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it's like honestly, it's like I think they get paid like $250 or something like that.
You think they
for
can
doing
sponsor
nothing?
us?
Excuse me.
You think it can sponsor us?
I know, right?
what, a political government entity?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
But it was a
Anyway.
little bit weird last night with that. But I was going somewhere with this and completely gone.
You said you were out by
What-
yourself.
what'd you
You
do?
said it
Yeah.
was. You said it was anticlimactic.
yeah, just because of the fact of matter. But I had a point to the end of that.
I think you were going to tell us what kind of candy
Yeah, what
it
candy
was,
did
maybe.
you hand out, damn it?
Well, I'm sorry, Kit Kats. We had Kit Kats, Snickers, Whoppers, and all
The
kinds of
Whoppers are good,
all
too.
kinds
What
of
the fuck
gummies.
was Luke mad about
I
that
don't even
for?
know. That
What
was
did
kinda
he
weird.
expect?
What do you
What
want?
did he want?
Skittles?
Excuse me.
What did he want?
Well, you don't even fucking eat it.
Yeah,
It's not like it's like a
He wanted,
charcuterie.
he wanted rice cakes and peanut
Yeah,
butter.
Yeah, right.
It's
You want the
not-
special peanut butter.
It's
yeah.
not like a charcuterie board. It's not like a spread. It's
Necco
just like,
wafers,
Yeah.
Chris.
Well, hey, those were good.
Did you like those?
What Necco wafers are the ones that
Yeah,
were?
little
Like
discs.
nickels.
They had
Yeah,
the.
they were like,
did they
yeah,
have?
they were like different colors.
Yeah.
Did they have
Then
the?
they have chocolate ones.
Did what are the? My mom gets them. They're like flying saucers, and they
Rolos.
have the.
Oh, it's got the
The
things in the
beads
middle.
in the
The beads
middle.
in the middle. That's
Yeah.
like a Chinese.
Yeah.
Oh, those
They
are,
taste like the
Do you like those?
non-pareil.
The
My mom-
wifey
yeah,
actually likes
my
them.
mom loves
Perels.
they taste like communion.
I like your host. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Horrible.
What about lemon
What?
heads? You guys?
Yeah, I like lemon. A lot of lemon heads were good.
I bought a box of lemon heads the other day at the mall.
What
Yeah,
about like the
in the
grape
Boston-
ones and there's grape ones
Yeah.
now, and I think the other ones are better than the lemon heads.
Jared, I
You
read
know-
the Skittles was the most popular.
Yeah, that's what
candy.
you had. We had that
Yeah,
on the trivia.
Halloween, yeah.
You know
Oh,
what?
did I have that on there? Yeah, okay.
One of my favorite.
Yeah, how
candies
was the
to get-
Halloween show? By the way, we'll get. You guys didn't really talk about it.
Oh, it was good. Well, it could have been worse.
Let's
Definitely.
just wait.
I'm gonna be real.
Yeah,
I'll
it
be
could
that
have
guy.
been worse.
It could have
Hands
been
down,
worse.
in my opinion, and just in my opinion, it was the worst show we did.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
100%
Just in my, but that's
Definitely.
okay. But we make that statement. We act like we're professionals. We're not professionals. So at the end of the day, it's okay that we had a bad show.
I'll make an excuse. It just was a lot. It was a lot going on there, with the costume contest and just. I thought it was a little overwhelming.
You know,
for us.
we don't.
For us,
You guys had a hell of a bar tab, I heard. Huh?
Yeah,
we don't even want to get into that.
but it's
Hey, real quick, I'm
All
gonna
right,
say.
move
I'll
along.
tell you this before you go on your rant. I had so much fun. It was.
I would-
Oh no, let me back up. It was not about having fun. The
Yeah,
night
no,
was
no,
a
we
had-
blast. Night was hands down a blast. I just thought from a production side of things. Do you think it was a good show?
No, I mean we could have done some stuff better, but I still had fun.
Hey,
we had
let's
fun.
just
I
put
was
the
up
elephant
there.
out here. It was a horrible show. It was horrible.
I mean, I would say it was.
I would say people
I don't
enjoyed
think
the
it was
show. We
horrible.
I mean,
It was rough.
It was rough.
It was rough. We just.
One of the guys came up to me and said, "I've never been to anything like this. That was awesome." You know what I mean? Like people had
Which is
fun.
super cool.
Yeah.
And once again, and once again, I think you said you learned something about me during this whole thing. What? I'm real. I'm just gonna be real. I think our show sucked.
I think
Well,
it
Joe,
did too.
I think maybe we got lucky by starting at 8, so we only had to go an hour.
Hey, I don't
that
even
might
think-
have been the
That
I
biggest
was
was
like-
we
blessing.
delayed it.
That might have been the biggest
because we had
blessing of
sound.
the night.
Yeah,
I
100%.
kept looking at Jeff and just tapping his wrist to look at his watch.
Yeah, it was.
That's
But
very
anyway,
true.
it was.
But we got through
Well,
it.
you guys
Yeah.
survived.
We
And,
did
if,
survive.
and I will say real quick, if any asshole at River City put beer on our tab, fuck you. 'Cause there ain't no way our tab was
was
that
that-
large.
Freeloaders.
Yeah, I
you
agree.
fucking assholes.
Anyway, well, we this is usually where we talk about sports, but we kind of went off the rails here. Oh, you didn't. Never mind.
What?
Never mind.
Oh,
No. You did. Sorry. Any sports stuff you
Oh,
want to
I'm
update
going to
on?
ask these guys about the NFL trade deadline today.
Oh,
Soup,
boy.
you got rid of Claypool.
I'm a
What's
mess.
Your thoughts?
Yeah,
I'm sure you
I
are,
don't know.
Joe.
We're a mess, and I texted. I think I texted Chris this. I'd be happy with at this point like 6-11 in a good draft.
You should just
pick.
want to lose every game so you get a better
that's
pick.
how I feel about
And have the Bears lose, too.
Getting rid of Claypool here, I'm okay with it because that's a second-round draft pick. And our buddy Earl made a good point. They got Cooper last year for a fifth-round draft pick.
right.
So
Yeah.
I feel like we won the trade with the Bears. I think Claypool has a lot of upside, and he's going to end up probably being really good. Him and Justin Fields will probably work well together. But if you're the Steelers, you want to make sure Kenny Pickett has enough pieces in 3 to 4 years from right now.
Sounds like Claypool was a locker room problem.
Yeah, so
More than
you
anything.
want as many draft picks and cap space as you can.
Yes.
If you got to let guys go, let them go. We want to be good now, obviously,
Definitely.
but it's just the NFL is way too good.
rebuild time.
Yeah, it's time to rebuild.
I think it's good. Real quick. I think it's good for the team morale. You get rid of him and Juju. Now, those two dickheads are gone, so now.
Well, how come? I thought everybody loved Juju when he was around. I thought that was like
he was fun at the parties, but he didn't do shit on the field.
beginning. He was cool at the beginning, and then he turned into.
Well, I just think at the end of the day, if you're winning football games and you're producing, at the end of the day, you can do whatever the fuck you want off the field. But if you're losing and you're not even individually doing well, you can't.
And you're still doing the same shit off the field.
That's the thing. I loved Juju when he first came to the Steelers. I thought
he was a USC dude.
Thought he was great, and then he started doing the TikTok shit and dancing on logos.
Soup, if you promoting his brand, right? Is that what they always say?
Yeah, he can do that.
If you were the commissioner, what's the first thing you do with the Steelers?
With the Steelers?
Commissioner?
Yeah, or whatever.
Like I'm Roger,
maybe like the GM.
The GM.
The GM of the Steelers.
I bet I know what he's going to say.
No,
not Roger.
Goodell bought.
If I was the head of the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, I would hire some sick offensive coordinator.
I knew he was going to say
like, get somebody in there that
Who would you hire?
Roger. Somebody that just wants to throw.
Yeah, Roger.
Probably me. I'd probably just put myself in there as the offensive coordinator. I'd just throw the ball deep every time.
Well, that'll work.
If I was the GM of the Steelers, I'd relocate and sell the team.
Oh, wow. That would go over well. I'd really enjoy that.
Who you sell them to?
You'd get hung on a bridge in Pittsburgh.
All you got to do in
Matt, what would you do? Because I know you're a big Steeler fan. What would you do?
Oh, yeah, huge. Well, I'd bring James Harrison back to run the franchise. I think he would set the kind of example that they're looking for. I think it's time for Steeler people to understand that it's kind of over now. It's a tear it down, rebuild.
100%.
You can't cling to it anymore. We kind of knew when Roethlisberger was gone.
Can I answer that question? I would build from within out. I think at the end of the day, our line sucks. I think
gotta be inside.
And our defensive line. I mean, obviously, we're starting to get a little bit better with a little bit of youth, but when we still got the Cam Haywards, who's still a beast, but he's still on the downward end of his career. We should have hands down tried to build from within out, and then things would a little bit. Then at the end of the day, we would have swallowed that we're going to have a couple bad years, then get some ancillary players. That's just my opinion.
Cam Hayward, I hear he's like a really good dude.
Yeah,
really good dude. Class act.
Alex Highsmith talks about it in the video, but they hosted a softball tournament or a game with all the Steelers guy and like gave all the money to charity. It was pretty
Cam
cool.
does so much stuff. And when we were trying to do the video with Stadium Links, Cam's name kept getting thrown around. He would have ended up coming to do it if we would have asked, I'm sure. And he does all that stuff. He underprivileged kids. He takes care of them, going to do a bunch of different sports and helps them out with school and all that. So,
that's super cool. It's the way it should be, though.
Yeah,
like
go Steelers.
At the end of the day, and I think it's really cool because some people, you don't have to do that.
No.
But really, at the end of the day, do you not agree that's probably, I mean, you play sports, you have a name, you have a platform. Why not do good shit with it?
And you're getting
instead of making TikTok videos,
you're getting more money than you'd need to survive.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, they do good things with it, right?
Throw a bone out. If we ever make millions of dollars, we're going to do something.
Speaking of that, we need to pitch in on that goddamn $1.2 billion. That's what the lottery's up to.
Powerball.
Yeah.
Champ and Becky Boo splitting the ticket. Champ bought it for us today. So
how much?
Gonna be lucky.
How much? $10? Or how much did he?
Oh, I don't know. He just probably $2.
Did you imagine if Champ won the lottery? Like, what would he like? Where does he go from there?
He was trying to figure out how to divide 1.2 million by 3 people. He struggled with that for a while.
He'd buy out Lucky Strike. He'd buy them out.
He'd buy a strip joint.
Well, yeah, let's see what he would buy.
A cigarettes.
Factory.
I hope he'd buy a set of teeth.
An oyster refinery.
A boat.
Yeah,
maybe if
oyster trawler that Ace could drive for him.
Maybe if we strike gold one day, maybe that can be that'll be a video.
We're gonna get him a grill or like real teeth.
Yeah, get him a set of veneers.
Get him gold teeth.
Can you imagine if he got veneers, big white,
they look like Jim Carrey in a mask.
Exactly.
Yeah. Gosh, he'd get all the ladies.
Anyway,
he already does.
So sports. Anything
what do you
else?
Top.
Yeah, what do you guys think about the whole Michigan State thing? Michigan thing.
Ugly incident.
I just
what happened?
What's up with the one tunnel? When is that ever?
I have a lot to say about it. I just want to
What's up with guys that can't just be respectful?
Exactly.
For
act like adults.
For the listeners out there that don't know, not because I'm saying that because I have no idea, what happened?
So the moral of the story, at the big house, there is, when they go back the tunnels per team, there's only one way in, one way out. So, and there's been in years past, I mean, it's never been like that, but there's always been issues when everybody's a little pumped up before a game or after a game. But they were going. Most of the Michigan State players were walking back in, and a Michigan player, in my opinion,
This was after the game.
This is after the
And
game.
then they got their ass
After
whipped.
Michigan beat the shit out of Michigan.
rolled.
Okay.
So both teams only have one way in and way one
One
way
way
out.
to go to their locker rooms. But so once they have to go in the same way, and then it branches off on one side's
Okay.
Michigan, one
Gotcha.
side's Michigan State. And here's the deal: they're bitter rivals. I mean, back in the day, what Michigan used to call them their little brother, kind of. So it's definitely bitter. But I think at the end of the day, I think the Michigan kid instigated the whole thing, because the way that he did, there was a bunch of Michigan State players walking, and he made it purposeful where he beelined to get in the middle of them to be walking with them. And I'm sure at that time, and I'm sure at that time, they started chirping. I don't think
They beat the shit out of that dude.
See, you know what Luke thought to say, and maybe I'm wrong. I think they roughed him.
Yeah,
up.
actually, I don't think they were throwing punches. I think it was
Yeah,
more
just
like
a rough up.
throwing him around.
And I'm not saying
Which
that's
he does,
right.
He
I
think he
it.
deserved.
Well, so do I.
I think 100% all the blame is on the Michigan
kid,
dude, because you can see there's actually a video from the outside where you can see him jumping around. Like he's jumping around like a fucking idiot, like going into the like probably saying, "Yeah, you guys suck," this and that. So I think it's all on the Michigan guy. I don't blame the Michigan.
And
State
Harbaugh is
guy.
making it. Harbaugh did not say one thing about his player at all. He thinks it should be what he thinks there should be criminal charges brought up on these guys.
Disgusting.
So who
Whatever.
suspended it says 4 Michigan State players got.
I think that's it.
I don't know
Just
if it's the
the
Big Ten or the
school, or-
school. I didn't really read much more into it. Honestly, it wasn't even an interesting story. It's just a showcase of the way.
So the
people
guy
act
didn't
today.
the guy didn't die.
No, I think
No,
it's
it's just
fine.
it just shows people. It's sportsmanship and that kind of stuff is just gone. It's
Gone.
just gone. I mean, the Michigan kid had no right to go in there and do that, but then the Michigan State guys have just gotta. You gotta. Sometimes we've all wanted to do things like that. You just can't do it.
You can't. I agree with that, Matt.
It's not that he didn't deserve it, and he probably did, but it's the wrong place, and you know you're going to embarrass your school. And I just think people think only about what their feelings are at the time. They don't think about any of the repercussions. And that's why guys are getting shot all the time. You know, if those guys had guns, and I'm not picking on anybody because of color or whatever, that didn't have anything to do with it. But just, I mean, if you're out on the street and a guy's got a gun and you do that, you know, it's a different story. You're wearing football equipment, you're coming off the field. So that is why we have so much violence in our society, is because people have such short fuses. You just have to deal with people are assholes. They're pieces of shit. I mean, most of society doesn't even deserve to live, if you ask me. I'm embarrassed.
I'll be honest with you, Matt. I agree with you.
And then one of the things I had on there earlier about that planet killer asteroid that could impact the Earth.
Yes,
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it hit our Earth, and maybe it's the right thing to have happen right now. It's how bad things are.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, you said
I-
something. I'm sorry, you go ahead. Go ahead. My bad.
Well, I was just gonna go of what you said with the violence. This morning, rapper, his name's Takeoff
Chris mentioned
of
earlier.
the Migos, who to I know you guys don't.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I've heard of him.
To the younger, he's a huge rapper. And for this younger generation, I mean, that people love this guy because he's part of this group called the Migos, and he just got shot this morning over a dice game that he wasn't even involved in.
Wait, is he dead?
Yeah, he's
Takeoff died this morning.
No, he didn't.
Takeoff got shot and killed this morning. Yeah.
over a dice game.
Over
I
a
read
dice
that
game.
headline.
And
I couldn't believe it.
He wasn't even involved. It was like, I guess it was friendly fire. The guy wasn't even trying to shoot Takeoff.
And again, guns aren't the problem here. So before
It's
anybody
just-
starts
I know,
saying
right?
that crap,
Good call,
it has
Matt.
nothing to do with it. It's the people.
Yes,
you
and
can't you realize when you shoot somebody, they're gone. Like
Yes,
it's,
so you
that's
can't
the end.
get the-
You don't bring them back. It's not something you do. Think about how many times in your life you got mad at your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad. You don't shoot them.
Yes, and
I mean, you deal with it like a grown up. Even fist fight. Okay, if it's fair on both sides and you want to throw down on it, fine. Okay, good.
I just think that I was going to go off this. I just think the culture of rap and really everything, this toting guns and this, I just think
glamorized, right?
This mentality is just so it's unnecessary. It's so unnecessary that act like these tough guys. You're rapping. You're making music for people to enjoy, and I just think it's so dumb to have any beef with people over rap. I just think it's so dumb.
Do you think that it has? Again, I'm not picking on anybody, but do you think it has something to do with the culture they grew up in, and that's just something that they were, whether it's drugs, crime, whatever, and you get little kids in this, and you're growing up around it, and guns become a regular part of your life.
I think it's kind of both. I feel like some guys have grown up in that, and then I think some guys it's just fake. It's all fake. They want to act like this fake gangsters that shoot and kill and sell drugs.
it's not a great thing to be.
I know
Like,
they think it's. I just
in certain times in America, in the world, being a gangster and doing things, off the books or in a criminal underworld, maybe they weren't as bad as they are today. But I mean, even these guys had codes. They had respect. They didn't just slay people just for the hell of it. Like you just can't do that over a dice game and then over a football game.
Yeah, and I know now. I'm sure there's just going to be a slaughter of people now just for people. It's called sliding for people. I just can't imagine what's going to happen now for the guys that are going to shoot the guy that shot him, and then the guy that shot.
Yeah,
just going to be
retaliations.
Keep going and going, and it's
I've always been a fan of taking the high road on that. Like if somebody does something to slight me, retaliating isn't gonna solve the problem. No. Like if somebody hits my car in an intersection, me getting out and getting violent with the person because they hit my car, it's not going to solve anything. At the end of the day, if he maybe made an accident, you don't know what happened. You don't know what that guy did. I mean, and even in baseball, I absolutely hated when we would get in these chirping matches with each other where it would start to get like scary levels of like just on each other. I hate that kind of stuff. I'm a huge stickler on just stay to yourself. You live your life, enjoy your life, do good things. At the end of the day, we're not here for that long. So enjoy the time that you're here. Life isn't that serious.
How long does the retaliation make you feel good? A couple minutes,
Exactly.
and then you feel guilty. Like most people with a normal conscience who had a decent upbringing or decent humans would feel bad if you beat the shit out of a guy that rear-ended you, like for like some psychopath, and then you would be like, God, why did I do that? Like you would. Like a lot of people won't though. They beat him to death in the street and let him lay there and think they were justified in doing it.
My biggest problem, and I think we can make this relevant to pretty much everything in society right now. So you talk about culture, you talk about all this different stuff, but wouldn't you think, and here, none of us know what any of this is like, but I can look at it, this type of culture, the rap culture, I could look at it as the welfare system, I could look at it the way people parent. Isn't it about breaking, so if they've lived such a bad life, or if people that have been on welfare, wouldn't you want to be the person that breaks that? Yeah. So the fact of the matter that you can start being a role model for somebody else to be able to start a whole new generational thing. And I know this is a rainbows and butterflies thing, but I guess I don't understand it. So I know we always want to make excuses and we just say, well, that just kind of is what it is. Well, I think at the end of the day, that's fucked up, because you would think that once somebody gets a little piece of this little money, that they want to run with that and be like, I want to get the fuck out of that. I don't want to worry about getting shot in a dice game. The welfare system, you grew up on welfare your whole life. It's been generational. Wouldn't you want to be that person that goes to school, makes a living, breaks the Doyle tradition on living off the fucking system? To me, it's just purely excuses. It's going to the path of least resistance, not zero fucking leadership. If you're going to try to be something in the community, be a leader so you can break that fucking tradition or whatever it is.
Politicians let people down like that. They're partly responsible
without a doubt,
and then it's just easier to blame somebody else for all the problems.
And I wonder too, though. I mean, we've never been in that situation, but what it's like for somebody like that does have a taste of success, but then you got your
boys.
Yeah, your boys. Your entourage and those guys. We've even seen with pro athletes before that, they start out and they're getting in some trouble off the field because they got some undesirables still hanging with him that they've been their boys since 8th grade, whatever. I mean, that's got to be tough.
Well, I'm not saying it wouldn't be tough, Chris, and I agree with you, because if you grew, my two best friends are from kindergarten. I agree with that, but at the end of the day, if I have a job and a livelihood, and you're going to fuck it up for me,
well, yes,
I'm going to be honest with you, dude. Guess what? We're not friends anymore. I mean, I know that sounds pretty.
It's a hard decision,
right?
You got to make it.
But it's at the end of the day, if you're going to fuck up shit for me,
there was real quick before we take a break. There was some analogy. It's like. Your leg has a wound on it, and how far are you going to let that infection spread before you decide to cut the leg off and live your life your life in peace? I mean, are you going to let that infection just take over your whole body before you're just like you're just the infection now?
Don't be Viserys Targaryen.
Yeah, you got to eventually make a decision. It's like a cancer. You got to cut it out. I mean, that kind of stuff is eventually you got to don't know. You got to make sacrifices if you want to do good in the world sometimes.
Factual.
I feel like it's we reiterate it all the time on this show. Don't be an asshole.
Yes. Be good in the world. Be good to everybody. Be nice. We're going to take a break here. Go get a soda. Go get a drink, and we'll be back. Go give somebody a hug. Call somebody you love.
Get a bush light.
Right. Yeah. It's that time of week.
What the fuck?
This week in history, October 31st, November 6th.
Come on down.
We're here in the WVLY studios for the second time in the past 2 weeks. We're going to do this week in history, October 31st to November 6th. Big week this week. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of movies, a little space action here.
A lot of elections.
A lot of elections here. Some illness.
Hey Matt, when we do the podcast for a full year,
right?
Are we going to do this week in history like the following year and keep teaching people new stuff?
Absolutely. Because you know how many things are on these days? I mean, I pick out highlight. I mean, I missed a lot of good things.
I was going to say, there's a lot of stuff.
That's going to make my job harder. I got to find things that we didn't already talk about, but we'll do that, definitely. We can go on for history till the end of time.
We're going to run out of history.
No, never. We'll go back into the Mayan civilization if we have to.
I read this last year, last night. Not last year, last night. There is 5,000 years of recorded history. Yeah. Boom. Take that.
And how long has our planet been in existence? Far longer.
Really? Of recorded history?
5,000 years of recorded history.
That's about right.
They had cameras 5,000 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
They were recorded on a leaf.
That was
good job.
That's like you find that in like a Cracker Jack bag.
I don't put a ton of things that are back, pre-AD, but occasionally you'll see a BC on there. But yeah, we got thousands of years BC to cover, so... Don't worry, students. We got a long way to go.
Students. I got a question before we do the history on the other news and notes. Yeah. I didn't see this, but maybe you guys know. What happened with this Tennessee reporter that lost their job over a tweet from 8 years ago?
Yeah, so the girl says it was a fake account, that like somebody's trying to set her up. And then, of course, the TV network, which is like the volunteer TV network or whatever it is, actually Tennessee, University of Tennessee, but they fire her without even... exploring, investigating it or anything. So she doesn't even have a chance to defend herself. So if I just want to call your company tomorrow, Chris, and say, oh yeah, Chris, he's a racist. Like he did this, and this.
That's the reason.
I just make it up.
It was racially.
Yeah.
It was.
I can I can just say it and destroy your life with no evidence, no facts.
So she couldn't even really defend herself?
No,
they just
zero.
said you're...
Gone.
So there's like they're trying to get her an attorney and stuff.
That's
she
ridiculous.
is. They're doing a GoFundMe for her to at least defend herself because she's swearing she didn't do it. So there's two things there. Whether someone made a comment 8 years ago on there when they were in fucking high school or before, and they're adolescents and they don't know, and then maybe it wasn't the smartest thing to say. Whatever they did, it didn't even say what she said. I didn't find it.
I couldn't find it either.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, whatever it was, they didn't even say that she used the N-word or anything like that, but it was a racially insensitive tweet of some sort. So first of all, firing somebody for that, in my opinion, is wrong. You should not be fired for words ever. But, if you want to, you give people second chances in this world. That's what everybody wants, a second chance. All these fucking criminals that go to prison, they all want a fucking second chance. Oh, I did this, and this, but give me a second chance. Right. They all want a second chance, but no, you're not allowed to make a bad decision in this world if you're the wrong religion, you're wrong whatever, sex, blah, 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 on down the line. So I think very disappointing that they would do that without giving her a chance to defend herself. And again, no evidence.
And aren't you sick and tired of the word insensitive comment? Like everything's insensitive.
Everything's insensitive.
I mean,
this fucking inflation's insensitive. Gas prices are insensitive.
Yes.
The way our people act around town are insensitive. Our roadways are insensitive. I'm shaking. I need a neck brace to drive through downtown.
I tell you when are they? Are they getting started on that soon?
Oh yeah, Mayor's right on it. When are we going to interview him?
Yeah, maybe he can come down to the studio one day.
Well, here's the deal. He's part of this.
The day after that planet killer asteroid landed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We're co-workers with Matt.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this one off because I like space. USSR launches Sputnik 2 with Siberian Husky Laika on board. He ain't better than Ham.
When?
When
was this?
That was 1957, November 3rd. She ain't better than Ham. But I respect.
He said that whole thing completely backwards. He started off he started off with the thing and then said 1957 November 3rd. Like fucking Yoda.
That's pretty good, Jared.
I disagree with this. First animal in space. I disagree with it.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Gotta be a monkey.
I was wondering what you thought of that because I thought your monkey was older, but they termed this as the first
that's
animal in
bullshit.
space.
What do you mean
But
you
the
disagree
Russians they
with it?
try to take credit for that.
I'll sue somebody because Ham was the first monkey.
Be careful,
Wait,
they
why-
might be listening.
Wait,
to this.
which guy was Ham?
Ham was the monkey. It's a parent. What they call that? An acronym for something. He went up in
Yeah,
space.
yeah. Okay.
He was the first monkey to ever orbit the Earth. How about that?
Chubb,
That's impressive.
Chubb, why are you suing me?
I'll sue everybody.
So Job's disputing. He's disputing the Siberian Husky from the Soviet Union was the first
Yeah,
animal.
Ham-
Well, hey, I tell
We
you.
need to have an investigation.
Listen, this is a 30-second podcast. And I think it's the first time this week in history is going to be challenged.
Yeah.
No, good. Hey, listen.
Challenge
When
history.
I was typing that in, I was like, man, I think Job is going to not like this. I actually
You were
thought
right.
of this.
Yes.
Oh, that's kind of wild.
He
All right,
brought
so
it
what
up.
I knew he would.
Okay,
he
well
would read.
they
ahead,
beat
Joe.
us. They beat
Oh
us.
no, Ham.
Us.
He got
Wait,
ousted.
well, hold on now.
I love
hold
that
on
Jump
now.
thinks
He
he's
was the
part of
first
team.
primate.
Yeah.
He
Us.
said they beat us.
Yeah.
They beat us.
They beat
Well,
us.
hold on, wait now. July's before November, correct?
Well, depending on how you read it.
Yeah, I
1948.
mean, you could have read it backwards.
Yeah.
July 1957 to January 1983. That's how long Ham lived. He was a chimpanzee. It was Ham the chimp. Ham was
When was he born?
He was 1957. So I
Okay,
guess
so I guess,
they-
He wasn't
got
out
us
the
beat.
womb.
Yeah.
He was not in
He
space.
was
He
too
was
young
a,
to
he
go
was
in
a baby
space.
though.
Leica was
He
a little
flew
older.
in 1961.
Sorry.
Hey, but guess what? I still like Ham better.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, sorry,
Hey,
Leica.
Hey, he flew it
The
though.
Russian
He
vixen.
flew the
Yeah,
the
Leica
spacecraft.
just went on a ride.
Yeah, he flew it. Ham flew a suborbital
But
flight.
then, like-
The Husky probably just slept the whole
No,
time.
hey, but then
Ham's
Leica,
driving it.
Leica came
They're
back,
flying it.
came back to the Earth, and then did the Iditarod. So, Leica's a multi-sport athlete.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think Ham throws the javelin.
I thought you were going to say
Ham's a
pitch for the
beast.
Mets.
Beast.
Anybody else
All right.
here?
Chris, what do you got?
Chris, I see it.
Well, I saw this because after about, it's been a while since we've heard from her in history, but November 4th, 1429, Jared's girl, Joan of Arc, free citizens of Saint-Pierre-le-Moutier after a successful siege.
Oh,
so
that's nice of her.
she was a very
Nice lady.
a good lady.
Yeah,
And they burnt-
I apologized a long time ago.
you
that
called
she-
her you called her a bitch.
she was a-
but,
I-
but you
I
didn't really
thought she-
mean it because
No,
we did.
'cause
you spoke before you did any
I
research.
judged her fat, and I should
Right.
have. I said that once I apologized, I was going to
Did
get a
you-
shirt of her, but I never ended up getting a shirt. But I do apologize to Joan of Arc. She's not a bitch.
no, she
Really.
did a
Wonder
lot
how-
for the people.
Wonder if she was any good
I
looking.
think
Boy,
we should
if-
have some of her family come on and debate Jared
If
after
she-
you said that.
Yeah,
Jimmy of Arc.
Let's
'cause,
trace
hey,
their lineage.
hey, Jared, her family found those comments to be insensitive.
Jeez,
So-
I'm going to get
You're
fired.
a bully, Jared.
And
You're
you're
a
banned
bully.
from eating the kidney beans.
Jared said her son is named Jimmy of Arc.
I'm not sure she had any children. She died very
Yeah.
young.
John and Joan of Arc.
John
Not that we
Jones.
know. of.
That's like Tom Thumb and what was his,
Bobby
what was his
of Arc.
wife's name?
Something pinky.
Mrs. Thumb.
Mrs. Thumb.
J and J
Emily said
kidney
she went
beans.
nuts on that thumb thing.
That
She-
was
Oh,
good.
God, that
Very
was
good.
a funny clip.
November 2nd, 1983, Michael Jackson's single Thriller was released. That was a big deal back in
Hell
the day.
yeah.
That's what I was going to go into that one. I was going to start it off with boom, 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 boom.
So my question is, do you guys believe all the accusations against Michael Jackson?
Boy, he certainly
Pretty
didn't help
strong
himself
evidence.
out because I've watched it. There's an interview I think he did with I can't remember the news network, but he really dug himself a hole on.
He
on
lost
one
his
of those.
mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never
Sad.
really looked into it. To be
I was a
honest
big
with you.
fan of his as a kid.
I just know South Park made fun of it, and that's kind of as far as I got into it.
Do you
That
guys?
makes fun of
do-
everyone. I love
speaking
it.
of that, do you guys separate the work from the artist? Like, do you separate?
Oh yeah.
Like-
Like I'm not holding that personally against him. I think he's amazing. I think what he did was incredible.
Yeah. So like, if like I don't know,
That's a really
who's your
good-
favorite? Who's your favorite artist of all time?
I can't say that right now. That's
Okay,
you're talking
so
about on the
anyway,
spot.
let's say
to
they-
answer your question, no, they would hinder me.
So, like, if
It would hinder me.
Let's say you just were listening to Lizzo when you came in here.
It's about goddamn time.
Yes, if Lizzo murdered like a drove of people,
I wouldn't be able to separate the two, and my issue would be a bitch.
Would you still? Then would you?
I would
listen to the songs?
well, what about?
It's kind of shallow though, because Matt's thinking is right. Because at the end of the day, it shouldn't drive. It's Matt's right. I'm the window licker, but I'll be honest, I can't separate.
What about Gary Glitter? He was a rough guy.
Who's Gary Glitter?
Dun 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 dun.
They play at the Penguin games all the time.
He's played at Westwood basketball games.
Yeah, he was a child rapist or something, didn't he?
Yeah, he did some rough stuff.
Yeah.
He's a knucklehead.
Yeah, I know a lot of those
What about
arenas
you?
stopped playing that.
What about you?
I try to, but it's tough. It's tough. I mean,
wouldn't care if
like,
anybody just
it's a great song.
8 people. I wouldn't care if they produced
Jeffrey
it.
Dahmer just
Yeah.
released a great album.
Yeah, he did.
Jeez, I
What
don't
would
know.
it be called? We're going to come up with a clever name. Body in the fridge or something. Dahmer.
Dahmer.
Yeah, he was the most popular Halloween costume.
Well, how did he kill people? Like, what was his method?
Not in a good way.
A lot
No,
of
I mean,
different
like
ways.
what-
Drug him, smash him with a hammer.
Hit him over the head.
Hammer. That's the album. Hammer.
There you go. MC
Jeff,
Hammer.
I don't know
speak.
if you remember this argument we had about Michael Jackson. We had it in Lexi's basement. Do you remember it was like Toddy, E?
It was me. I was there. He wasn't there.
What was the argument about it? It was like if everybody in the world.
Do you think everybody
I remember
on
this.
planet Earth knows who Michael Jackson is?
way.
No.
Well,
I think
who's more popular than him? Because
Well,
I
you
think
take the most popular person in the world. I don't think everybody knows who they are.
of age, 15 or whatever. You're going to cut it off. Obviously, little kids like
you gotta have
3
an
or
age
less
range.
aren't going to know. But who do you think is the most identifiable human on the planet currently?
It's
or
gotta
in the past.
That's a great
It's got to be.
question, too.
It's
Wow.
got to be him or The Rock.
Because
What about, like, Trump?
Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods were your most popular athletes.
And Jordan,
I feel like-
guarantee you not.
And LeBron is
If
up
you
there.
take 100 high schoolers, I would say 4 to 5 of them don't know who Michael Jordan is.
No, that's old. I'm saying old. That's from like my generation.
I would say-
he was the most popular person on the planet, probably.
I feel like I would
right
think
now?
gotta
Plus,
be
you see
gotta be
that-
Donald
I don't
Trump.
have a Jordan on.
right
That's
now,
where I was
yeah.
going.
gotta be
That's
Trump.
where I
It
was
has to
going.
be Trump.
Even with the Jordan logo,
That's a good call.
because that
Jared.
obviously makes it
100%.
more
It's
identifiable.
I think
I think Trump has to be.
Yes, I would
Just
agree.
like I
Pretty
mean,
close. What about Elon Musk?
I don't think people know what he looks
Yeah,
like.
I
Yeah.
agree. I
Did you see
don't
what
believe
he's
that,
gonna
but
do
I'm
to
just trying to
Twitter?
think of more. Yeah, I love
Good.
it. I have it
Good.
on. Did I have it
Fuck
on there? I
that.
thought
I
I
hope
wanted to
I
have it
hope
on
he
there.
charges $89
Me
a
too.
month.
Yeah, I have it.
Just some of these fucking
$19.99.
people.
Charge $20. That's
Good,
unbelievable.
good for him.
That'll be great.
It's
cool. So
unbelievable.
you remember we always
People
used
will
to
be
say, "Would you?"
devastated by that.
When Twitter was really, really like popular, we always used to say, "I'd pay for Twitter." I don't know if I'd pay for it now.
Yeah, back then I would have paid for it.
I don't know if I'll pay for it now.
Twitter's
Any,
dead.
Hey, I got one on here.
Twitter
All right,
used
what
to
do you got, Jared?
November 6th, 1860, Abraham Lincoln elected 16th U.S. president. One of my favorite presidents.
Yep.
Yes, honest Abe.
Yeah.
As
Big Abe.
Champ always
He had
called
a
him.
nice beard.
Big
Yes.
Abe?
Yeah, that
really-
was sweet.
It's the Emancipation
Do
Proclamation.
you think he
Good
couldn't
job.
grow the stash, or he chose not to have the stash?
Nah. They ate a lot of sloppy foods back then. He didn't want
He
it in
didn't
the
want to get
stash.
stuck in there.
Yeah.
Flavor saver.
Plus, they had bad teeth. He might have not as bad as George Washington, but
Did he
That
really
cherry
have
wood.
Did he
Yeah.
really have wooden teeth?
yeah, they say that's probably
I don't
not
think-
accurate.
Well, I
So
think some teeth were made of wood, but like
He didn't have a
The
full,
base of the
He
teeth
didn't have a
were?
full set of hickory.
But you know what they did for teeth back in those times? They actually took them out of people's mouths that
Yeah.
had died on the battlefield, and people put them
That's-
into a
that's-
jaw and like
It would,
formed
like-
you a
Jeez.
set of
it
teeth.
would look like a
disgusting.
bowl
Yeah.
of like.
that.
So if you killed a guy with a nice set of molars, he might be going in your mouth.
hey, save his teeth.
Yeah.
Matt, you got one?
Disturbing time. Let's see. You just did Abe Lincoln. I'll go November 4th, 1856. James Buchanan elected 15th president. Obviously, this is election time, November, so that's why you got all these presidents. I could have put like 25 presidents, Ronald Reagan's on here, and so forth. But do you guys know anything about James Buchanan? No? Okay, he was
maybe.
the only president to not be married.
Wow.
Okay?
Yep,
So his
that's
first
right.
lady was his niece.
No.
Ah!
Wait,
Wow.
Fucking history
got
ball
married and
there.
stuff?
No.
Yeah,
She
just-
just they
not know
they
that
let
at
him
all.
choose a lady that they would recognize as the first lady of the United States. That was her.
Damn, he's
Yeah.
lame.
So another thing about him, real quick
He's
too.
smart.
Well, I don't know how smart he is, but he's There's a lot of historical, I would say rumors, close to facts, that he was our first homosexual.
Honestly,
president
that's what I was
as
going
well.
to ask. They had to question sexuality if he wasn't married.
He had an affair, they think, with a guy named William Rufus King, who was like a diplomat and another political figure in those times. So they think that those two guys, they were inseparable. So that's kind of how rumors started with that.
I was just going to say, especially in the 1800s like that, it had to make him look, I don't want to say weak that he didn't have a wife, but he had to be looked down upon that he didn't have a wife with him to help support him and stuff like that. So that's impressive that he got elected as president.
Yes, and then he was also known to have told Abraham Lincoln how happy he was to be leaving office. And obviously the Civil War started just days after as Lincoln took over. Fort Sumter was attacked, and that started that. Yeah. All right. Anybody else?
I'll
John.
hit one more because I want to.
Wizard of Oz. No?
Yeah. My mom. I think no. My dad. Yeah. No. Coach's favorite movies. No, maybe not favorite, but one of his favorites is Wizard of Oz.
Agreed.
Never did much for me. Too dark. It was too dark. I didn't like the Wicked Witch of the West. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. Where did it go here? Oh, there's two illnesses on here. 1918, Spanish flu kills 2,100 people in the U.S. in
21,000.
21,000, sorry, in the U.S. in week one.
And
which
we
is
worried
nuts.
about COVID.
And then you look down here at the big one. The Black Death reaches London. I'm not sure the death count on that, but I'm pretty sure it was in the millions.
the millions, yeah.
Can you imagine how scary that would have been? Like
Bodies in the streets. Have you seen?
Like piled up on the street corners.
What was Black Death?
The plague. It's a plague, and it
bubonic
spread,
plague of some sort. Yeah,
it spread
from France to all through Europe, and then made its way to the shores of United Kingdom.
Wonder what happened. Did your body just shut down?
Yeah, basically. Your entire body, your systems just continue to fail. And they said it originated. They think it was from animals like rats or
rats.
Things like
I think were the main.
Yeah, or at least that was the main spreader of it.
How fast would people? Was it quick?
No, it was a slow, painful death. You didn't die very fast, and that's what made it even worse. It's blisters coming off your skin. Various different things affected different people, but horrible way to die.
Here's a little bit of the symptoms of the plague. If anybody needs to get checked out.
Before you eat Chinese
plague
food
today?
You can still get it. Yeah, it's still out there. It's not common, but
I hope not.
Pain in areas in the abdomen or muscles. Cough can be filled with blood.
Yeah. I don't have that.
Fever, chills, fatigue, or malaise.
Sometimes I have that.
Gastrointestinal, diarrhea, nausea, and vomiting. Also common: bleeding, delirium, headache, phlegm, shortness of breath, swollen and tender lymph nodes.
You sound like a pharmaceutical commercial right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, reading it real fast. There's some pictures here. Looks pretty rough. It's not a fun thing to have.
Looks pretty rough.
Pretty rough. Yeah, sorry, I just spit everywhere.
Hey, don't want that shit.
No. All right, let's move on to something a little happier. Celebrity birthdays this week. Happy birthday
Chris,
to you.
One-armed Rick Allen from Def Leppard.
Well, you know what? I got
November
confused when I
1st.
saw that because I was thinking the other guy, the Bay Rick Savage.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
the
he's only
one-armed
59
drummer.
now.
Yeah.
Damn, he's only a year older than I am.
Nelly, 48 on November 2nd. Shout out to Nelly. And Shadow Stevens, Chris, we just talked about him the other day.
Yeah, what were we talking about?
About center square on the board. You always like the center square.
Yeah, right, and it proved me right.
Yeah, Hollywood squares.
Yes.
We were talking about Inception earlier. Talking about a movie that's like science fiction and all that stuff. Matthew McConaughey, and it's Interstellar, right?
Yeah, very good movie.
Very good movie.
Very good
That's
movie.
really
A lot
good.
of memes out of
and then
that
Ethan
movie.
Hawke, he's a crazy actor.
I like him a lot.
I like him
He's in
too.
some off.
What movie
off
we were
the
just
wall.
talking about, Ethan Hawke, last week?
The horror movie. I got the one I got wrong.
Insidious, Sinister.
Yeah.
Wait, so that's the one you were talking about.
No, he's not in Insidious. He's in the other
He's
one.
in Sinister.
Sinister. There you go. Yeah.
Now, which one's better? They both good?
I prefer Sinister. I mean, it's horrifyingly scary though.
I think Insidious is a better series. But
He's right about the series though. But if you just want a good fucked up brain scare,
Can you see that on Netflix?
probably. Yeah.
Was Ethan Hawke just recently like in one of the DC or Marvel movies, or didn't what
may
did he
have
just
been.
play?
He was in the Purge. the
No,
first
Ethan
Purge.
Hawke. Ethan Hawke was
played
in
it.
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight.
There you
Yeah,
go.
Yeah,
he
he
did
was-
a really good
yeah.
job.
He's really good. He's in. I don't know if you guys watched the first Purge movie. I'm a big fan of those Purge movies.
If anybody wants to watch a spooky movie while Halloween is still within breath, oh Jesus, I just lost it. Hereditary.
Oh yeah, that's a very good one.
Awful
very good one.
movie.
I
I'm
like
not
this.
awful in the sense that it's terrible.
movie
it's
or a
it's scary.
series?
It's scary. It's
a
a
movie.
really, really freaky movie.
Hereditary.
Phone.
Huh?
Black Phone. Is
That
what I was
just
talking
came
about.
out,
It was
yeah.
really good.
Hereditary.
Hereditary.
Oh, yeah.
So,
sucks.
are you? What do you? Hereditary or Black Phone?
Black Phone, it was not good. at
Have you
all.
seen Hereditary?
No, I haven't.
Watch
seen it.
that.
Yeah, good-
That'll
good
freak
flick.
you out.
Yeah.
Hereditary. Watch Hereditary and Midsummer.
So happy birthday, Ethan Hawke.
Midsummer.
Hey, happy
And
birthday.
Tandy Newton, our girl from Star Wars. She was in Solo.
Which one was she?
She was the one that was friends with Beckett.
Oh,
And she's
yeah,
also
yeah,
in
yeah,
Westworld
yeah,
too,
yeah,
which
yeah.
I don't know if any of you guys watch.
I just
I'll
started
watch it. It's
that.
great.
I just started
It's great.
that.
You'll like it.
Kendall Jenner too. Didn't we just talk? We just
Yeah.
talked about the Kardashians.
We sure
didn't
did.
we?
Yeah. She's the hottest
Yeah,
one.
she is.
Well,
yeah.
here's a question about the Kardashians, real quick. We got a couple minutes left. Do you feel bad? Now, obviously, I don't feel bad for any of the Kardashians, but do you feel bad for? And I want to keep this light, but do you feel bad for Kris Jenner after Bruce moved on to Caitlyn and left? Like, do you feel bad for her? Like as a human being, like that, because she basically
That would be
picked,
wild.
she basically picked up and just left and didn't want anything, didn't take any pictures from her, didn't take any memories from her, didn't take anything, just left her, just said, hey, like, Bruce is gone.
She'll be
That's
okay.
it. I'm just saying, though, as
I get
far as
like
a
a
human,
normal
The human
person.
element?
Yeah,
if
I'm
that
s-
happened to one of us, like
Yes.
a regular, then yeah.
yeah, like I just,
but I think she's okay.
They're in a different
You know,
She's
world.
insulated.
And
she might have known this was coming. She might have been a part of it.
And
Who
I'm not
knows?
saying I feel bad. I don't feel bad for that.
But the humanity
they
side
have
of it.
money out the ass. They have everything they want in the world. But like that, just on a level, a human level, has to be rough. Like that has to be rough. The person that you've gotten close to all your
had
whole
children
life
with.
just picks up and leaves, and that's it. And they don't even exist anymore. You can't even Google them anymore. That's just nuts. Anyway, I thought that was.
That would be wild.
I saw something to come up on that. Anyway.
That's a question to be asked.
Yeah, Matt. I'm going to let you, Matt, go ahead. Shakespeare phrase of the
All
week.
right, here we go. Shakespeare phrase of the week. All that glitters is not gold.
And we're not talking Gary Glitter.
Right, definitely not. So that means just because something looks shiny and nice doesn't mean it's true, or it's, what am I trying to say there?
Means
true,
it's,
true of the inside.
yes.
True of the inside of the actual stuff. So gold could be fool's gold. Things you think are great may not be. So be thankful for what you have and don't go chasing.
That's probably my
shiny
favorite one that
things.
you've done so far.
Yeah.
It's like a hot girl usually.
Yep.
And that is from the merchant. That's from right. Well said. I was going to say that too. Females
That's
could
actually
apply.
a great analogy right there. 100%.
That's
I've
from
had
the
a
Merchant of
first-hand
Venice.
experience.
Merchant of Venice, Act
Yes.
2, Scene 7. All right. Is it that time?
yeah, it's that time. Sorry.
Talk
if any-
show
all right.
went silent.
Yeah, dead air.
Now we go home.
I'm ordering Chinese because my phone's about to die.
Right.
But
Talking about the
anyway,
bubonic plague got Jub hungry.
really
for
hungry.
Chinese.
I just thought about
You know,
some
Mongolian
I've been
beef with some fucking lesions on it would be delicious.
Let's do a little hot bit cold mug. We got about 8 minutes left. Let's throw it around here. I know we said something was going to be a cold
Cooley,
mug.
Cooley had one and Jared had one.
Go ahead, Cools.
My cold mug was going to be that NASCAR driver that pulled off. Was it Ross?
Ross
Ross
Chastain.
Chastain.
Chastain fucking slammed into the side of the wall.
It's unbelievable.
It went like a million miles per hour, and the doors
Slingshot.
flying
Yep.
off, and the pieces are going everywhere.
I didn't see this.
And it
Oh.
got
Yeah,
him
dude,
got
it's
him into the
incredible.
So,
playoff, right?
Jub, if you wanted to pull it up, the physics behind it are amazing. He basically slingshots off the wall at one of the slowest speedways in NASCAR, Martinsville in Virginia, and he's chasing down Denny Hamlin, who was a few spots ahead of him in the final playoff spot. So the final four advanced to this week's championship race.
incredible. It's the
And
most
Chastain gets the
athletic
idea. He's about 6 spots behind Hamlin in the final lap, and he goes up along the wall at Martinsville and just guns it. And then the wall itself slingshots him around.
Inside, up on the curve for the lead. Bell to the inside.
Yeah, you might have to go a little farther.
Chip.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
And the fight for the point.
Go back a little bit.
bit, yeah.
The one of Chess.
Incredible.
The 1 and the 11 fighting for every point right now.
Here it is, right here.
Denny Hamlin, 2
So he
point
guns it,
favorite
right?
to
He
get
just-
in as the championship
He's 2 points
four.
ahead of him.
Bell out of turn 4. He's going to do it. He's won his way into the championship.
Let's go get us a championship.
And the
Hell
fight
of a
for
job,
the
bud.
points. Right at the
Unbelievable.
That's really,
Was that
really
his-
cool.
Really cool.
Was that his idea or someone in
Yeah,
his
no,
headset
I guess
telling him
they
that?
said they talked about it. Yeah, just him and his crew chief said it, it was possible.
It's
So now
impressive.
guys are already saying we got to outlaw this.
No, that's
so.
a genius.
That's
awesome.
But you can only really ever do it on the last
Well,
lap because
yeah,
your car's
'cause
not
you
going
fuck
to
your
hold
car
up. Your tires.
And
are
I've
gonna
heard
blow up.
guys that tried that before, they said, without success.
Yeah, well,
So,
he
I mean,
hit the thing perfectly.
Yes.
Whatever he got in physics class, he got an A, I think, because to be able to
He
hit the
went
wall
so
at the right
fast.
spot and to be able to slingshot around like that.
So they're getting rid of it?
And he literally
Oh, no.
just beat Hamlin in the FedEx card job as you have it frozen up there. So, that's the guy he's passing that he needed to pass, the guy in the FedEx
To
over
win
on
the
right.
championship or
No,
something?
to get to
To
the
get-
Final Four.
Yeah, to
Wow.
That Denny Hamlin had the last spot.
yeah,
and he-
FedEx had it.
And
Was
and-
that his mechanic saying, let's go win a championship?
Yeah, because
That's awesome.
you at that point, if you're Denny Hamlin in Martinsville, you're like, well, it's impossible that he could. If I don't spin out, he couldn't pass enough guys to get to me. So here he comes
He
out of
went
nowhere.
by a bunch of
Amazing.
guys. That was
Cool
cool.
stuff. Good,
Awesome.
Good thought, Cooley. I'm
Yep.
glad you brought that up.
It's the coolest thing to ever happen in NASCAR.
I'm glad. See, for you being a big time NASCAR fan,
yeah,
I figured
no.
you'd be all over that. Yeah, that's good. Jarrett.
Yeah, so we were talking about it earlier. This is kind of a cold mug for everybody here. Was our incredible win, our incredible bet win over the weekend. Usually, the fact that it actually went our way is just totally amazing. So over the weekend, actually the past few weekends, we've all put money in a pot and have made a big bet on a college game. This weekend we went with. What was our other game that lost?
Louisville, Wake Forest, and then that's the
Well,
game we're going to talk about.
yeah,
and then the
but
other game was Say's team.
Oklahoma
Oh,
State
slaughtered
which
from the start.
48-0. We never had a chance there. But
Bloodbath.
so we had the Wake Forest Louisville game over, and it was looking pretty bleak. We needed more than how many points did we need? We needed like
67, I think.
Yeah, it was 67.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think we were like 4 points under that.
So Louisville has been
48-14
Yes.
at the time.
Louisville's been
Yes.
awful all year. Wake Forest is playing terrible. Louisville's beating their ass. Wake Forest has turned it over 6 times. Go ahead,
and
Jared,
we
take
had. I mean, it looked like we had no chance.
Right.
So Wake Forest. I think it was like with 20 seconds left. Wake Forest throws a pick on the. Well, it was at the goal line.
over.
Yeah, so it was at the
outside
goal
end
line.
zone.
Wake Forest throws a pick, and this guy from Louisville, instead of just going down, is running around like an idiot. I don't know what he thought was going to happen, and he ended up fumbling the ball. Wake Forest got the ball back, and then ended up scoring with like 5 seconds left
Yeah.
and putting the game over.
We need to get the film
I ha-
side
yeah,
by side
I-
with our
yeah.
reaction.
We have the reaction.
Hopefully, Jubb can splice it in, but it was incredible stuff. He runs backwards into the end zone, almost gets tackled for a safety, escapes that, comes out about to the 10-yard line, just juking through people, gets stripped of the ball. Wake Forest recovers, and then it wasn't that easy because Wake Forest took them, 3 or 4
I
plays?
think on the
yeah.
third play, what was the third and final
Third
play?
down.
The last play.
Yeah,
They
and
scored.
we got the game. That if you had the other way is
If
one
you-
of the worst beats.
If you had the under in that game, you got to want to kill
One
this.
of the
kid.
worst beats ever.
And he had already returned an interception for a touchdown earlier in the game, so I guess he was trying
and
to go
we
for
went nuts for that what amounted to $10 per guy.
Yeah, $10 per. Well, hey,
Yeah,
but,
but the
it was
chance to-
exciting.
But it was
Play
a
again
win.
this week.
A win is a win.
What two teams were it again?
It was Louisville,
Louisville,
Wake Forest.
Is it? It says Wake Forest turns it over 6 times in one quarter against Louisville.
Well,
Yeah, that would
that's
be-
part of it, but I bet
it
you
would
they're
be
not
like
going to show the
game,
end.
probably like game
We'd
highlights.
have to find like the whole game almost because that's the one that he ran back for the touchdown that they're showing there.
Yeah, they
So,
wouldn't show
anyway.
a normal highlight company.
Yeah,
or whoever's
they're
making it
not
wouldn't
going to know.
show
Now
that.
I'm surprised nobody got tipped off that was that put the game over. That's just
That's
that
an
led to
old
putting
one,
the game
Joe.
over. Also, that West Virginia game, the
Joe,
final.
that's old.
TCU's,
Oh, geez, that too.
TCU's coach was trying to cover the spread for sure.
That helped me.
Matt, how
I
about-
won 2 incredible wins.
How about recently when I'm listening to games, like a lot of the announcers at the end of the game will say
Right.
like something like, "Oh, that helped a lot of people." Or
Yeah, no,
something.
that's
These
good that they
announcers-
start to do that
Yeah,
now.
these announcers,
becoming mainstream.
Yes, yeah, it is.
Because it used to be taboo to bring that up. Like
Yeah.
you would be like blacklisted from that. Al Michaels would always try to work it in there
Yeah, he
cleverly.
did, yeah.
He was good at it, but most guys couldn't do it. Job, what do you got?
I mean, I don't have anything I was going to talk about, and we already kind of talked about it today, But I was going to talk about those the mediums that we talked about. I'm not going to bring it up again, but I just think they're phony, especially the ones on TV. Maybe not the ones.
No,
maybe not some. Maybe
I
not
agree with
some.
you.
But I think the ones on TV, I can't remember her name. I had it up earlier, like Sylvia Brown and some other bitch that.
Wasn't there a guy named John Edwards that used to do
Yeah,
that?
something like that. But anyway, I think they are. I think they're scum of the earth. I hope they all get locked up in
Snake
prison.
oil salesman.
Yeah,
Huh?
I hope whatever spirit realm they're pretending to look into is the absolute worst misery of eternity they could ever think of. I think they take people for granted. They take money from people who just want to talk, who want to have some sort of relief for their grief. I think they're all scumbag losers who just want to make a buck. I hope
Maybe they'll get possessed by a demon.
I hope they do. If there is ever evidence of a demon, I hope they get possessed and rip their own fucking heads off. So,
Well said.
yeah,
Job, I got
there
a
you
question
go.
for you. Would you rather be possessed by a demon or be inside H.H. Holmes' murder house?
Oh, Jesus. Probably, I mean, just in it, or just like I'm a victim in the
like
house.
if you can get out, you can get out. But I don't think anybody ever did.
Probably the demon, because at least then I'm just
Right, okay.
Yeah, the murder house. I got no chance.
I don't know why I thought of that. No.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, real
Yo.
quick. I was
Jared's got
hey,
some.
real quick, guys. I just got a my grade release for an assignment. Let's look this live on the
95
podcast.
out of 100.
It's out of 100 points.
What I
Holy shit! 100 out of 100, boys.
Wow.
That's my second
Wow.
cold
All
mug
right.
for myself.
Good
You've
job.
been paying attention. in
Hey,
class.
actually,
Good
this is really cool. I didn't even think about this. What this assignment was. So I was actually supposed to develop a strategic plan guide for a business, and I did us.
What was your plan?
We'll talk about it in the meeting.
Yeah, well, it wasn't exactly a plan. It was more of a guiding plan. Like I was a consultant. That's fucking boring shit.
How
that
not
nobody
to
gives
do a
fuck-
show at River City
Yeah, that nobody
on
gives a fuck
Halloween.
about. So yeah, that's my cold mug to myself. Second one.
Good for
Chris,
you.
what do you
Thank
got?
you, guys.
Jared.
Thanks, guys.
Well, I guess it's a cold mug. You know, I don't know how many weeks we've talked about NFL officials and how shitty they are, and they'll always continue to suck. But I watched that game last night, and obviously I was pleased by the outcome because the Browns beat the shit out of the Bengals.
Yes.
But I don't know if you guys saw it, but I thought it was actually a pretty clean game. There was very few penalties, maybe one or two reviews, and it's weird just sitting there watching that game. And we always say that every time a big play happens, you're waiting for that little
Hold
thing.
your
in it.
breath, yeah.
Hold your breath. And that didn't happen last night. So I'm not going to say they did a good job, but it was much more enjoyable to watch.
Adequate job.
Adequate, because
Good to hear.
they'll be fucking it up this weekend. But at least for 1 week, it was adequate, and it made my viewing experience a lot more pleasurable.
Go Browns.
Yeah,
Yes.
and Bengal Chad owes you a drink.
I get it.
after
Yeah,
that.
Bengal Chad. He was running his mouth.
Oh
and-
yeah, he was.
Well-
Hey, him and these guys' dad.
Yeah.
Coach was big on the Bengals. He told
You
me
said
I was
they'd
out
win.
of my mind. I told him the Browns would win by 20.
And they
almost
did. What,
yeah.
19, right?
19, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not. I don't want to go too overboard with the praise for
Go
NFL. Yeah, Uncle Larry.
All right, Jeff, what do you got?
Actually, I'm good this week.
Okay.
Soup.
My cold mug is random. It's just when we were talking about the Halloween candy. There's a candy that we eat it more on Easter, but it's incredible. So my cold mug is
Popcorn ball.
No, it's a Cadbury cream egg. Have you guys ever had it? Yeah,
Cadbury.
I had it pulled up. Dude, they're so good.
They're
That's
really good.
that is an awesome. So I guess Cadbury. Whoever
Underrated.
Is Cadbury a company?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
They've been around for a long
They're
If
time.
my
you,
they're my cold mug though.
I know
Yeah.
my candy bars.
Why don't they have a Halloween
if you
version?
want,
like a pumpkin?
If you want a little Cadbury something special, go get yourself a Carmelo. They're
Yeah. Oh, very
Did you
good.
see the look he gave right there?
He was.
Jeff?
He even shivered
He was
a
like
little bit.
Yeah, I know.
passionate. Like
listen.
Hot flashes.
There's not a lot of things. I don't try to eat junk food a lot. I try to, as I have a Sprite in front of me, but I try to stay away from candy. And I don't have it often. We don't have it in the house often. But when it gets around,
Ooh, I know.
it
Look
does.
the fuck out.
I
Eat
do,
it till your teeth
I
fall
do
out.
some
it
damage.
ain't staying in the
Hey,
house long.
The candy conversation just made me think. Jarrett, my old boss, and Jarrett's current boss. Also, Jarrett, congrats on almost graduating. You're almost done.
Thank you.
My old boss has a friend that their uncle owns Sarah's Candy. So I think that'd be sick to do do
a tour.
do a show right in front of all the chocolate and stuff.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, is it
Be like Willy Wonka.
I was gonna say, is it
that'd be
like Willy
sweet.
Wonka up
I
there?
don't know. Have you guys ever been in there? I haven't.
No, I've been in one similar. Like the there's a candy place in Ocean City that has where you can actually go on the tour and they can show you where they make the taffy and the fudge and stuff.
Because we pass
Matt,
it all the time on the interstate. It's not that far from us, right? Sarah's Canyon.
Matt, you know it sounds
Cannonsburg, right?
amazing
Yep,
right
it.
now.
What?
Thrashers.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I could go for some.
I thought you were going to say
Chris,
thrashers or fractured
grease my
prune.
fingers up a little bit.
Chris wants a fractured prune donut.
Oh, man.
Those are yummy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to start getting emotional.
June.
Yeah.
I got 2 rules in life. Anybody know my rules?
Never pass up a donut.
And if you're going to do it right.
Bingo. Ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, is Matt, you got one?
No, I don't. Just go to a candy kitchen. There's only one on every block.
Christ, if I can...
Jared passed like 30 of them on his way home
on
from
my
Secrets.
journey home.
All right.
No, I don't have anything. I'm in a peaceful mood for the time being after earlier. But
Good.
We'll see once I go out there and my tire falls off and I'm making a left down on
Down
16th
Mark's Main
Street. I'll be-
Market.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll do it here for us here in the studio. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to everybody that made this happen. Rocky, Kayleen, Howard, Lola. Thank you for everybody that works down here. Bob, thank you for working down here at WVLY and WKKX, the Watchdog Network. You can listen to their shows on the watchdognetwork.com.
High school
Listen to
football
them.
on Friday.
AM 1600, and then I can't remember the other call letters, but you can find them online and on the radio. Thank you to them. It kind of makes it as much as we miss our set, it does make this a little more easier to kind of send all our stuff to me and then get it out quicker. But thank you to all that. Thank you to everybody for listening. Thank you to our sponsors, Karen Bauer and Busch Light. We can't wait to probably drink some of those this weekend. And we will see you here next time in the Pine Room.
Peace.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye, guys.